Hey, Turtle Time YouTube. Thank you for being here.
Hi.
Is it fun watching us on YouTube? Please let us know. I bet it's kind of
love
fun.
it?
Yeah, I bet it's kind of fun. Do you think people who watch on YouTube sort of maybe look away and
They're
don't
like doing work.
and don't fully just watch every minute of it?
Yeah, they probably like check in here and there. Or if they hear something crazy, they're like, I need to go back and see what was happening.
Like when the dogs were attacking us. We should do
People
more.
loved it.
He did.
Yeah.
We should do more visual gags for YouTube, like
Juggle.
I'm wearing a funny hat. Yeah, or juggle or stuff like that.
Okay.
This one's for you tonight.
Okay, let's get started.
Just raise your glasses high. This one's for you.
Love is patient. Love is kind. One found love when love was hard to find. But the sun, it seems, tore this love apart at the seams. For it was a house that was built with sand all under. It is Radhouse that was torn asunder. My name is Riley Hamilton, and this is Turtle Time.
Oh my god. Stunning.
I should have introduced you.
I'm Amy Scarlatta, and that was gorgeous.
Yeah, you and I, we've been rocked by this news since 9 a.m. this morning Pacific time.
I woke up like Christmas morning.
Oh my God. It was, okay, well, for those who don't know what the hell we're talking about, Radhouse is the dynasty that was Carl Radke and Lindsay Hubbard's relationship, and Amy and I found out this morning, it's Thursday morning, we can just admit it. We found out there were whispers, there were whispers last night. An account called Bravo and Cocktail said they got an anonymous friend of a friend. Tipster that's like a tipster. Oh God, I just moved my mic. A tipster that said, hey, I heard, something happened on Tuesday night between Carl and Lindsay. Their relationship is over, but they shrouded it in mystery. They didn't say exactly who it was. And then this morning, Entertainment Tonight, which you have to believe them, right? They're reputable.
It's interesting that that's who they chose.
They chose?
Definitely.
Carl?
It was an exclusive.
It was?
Yeah.
Oh, so did Lindsay?
Definitely Lindsay had put her PR hat on.
Did she? But did the story seem like it had hallmarks from Lindsay in it? Like any details that she could confirm?
There weren't like too many details. It was pretty vague, but I feel like at the least her team, I feel like, confirmed it.
Yes. Yeah. So Carl and Lindsay have called off their engagement. They were set to get married in November.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's been what their relationship has been leading up to since, well, they got engaged last year, right? We saw that on Summer House this year, but it was last summer. They've been talking about it. They were getting married. Lindsay did
wasn't it Labor Day?
Yeah, I think it was Labor Day.
So like exactly a year ago.
Yeah. And then now we have learned, I think it said it was Carl. It's Carl that said, I would no longer like to continue to be engaged. Do you think that they fully broke up?
I mean, if your engagement's off.
I don't know. Some people, sometimes they say, let's pump the brakes. I still love you more than life itself, Lindsay, and I love the Radhouse dynasty, but I just don't want to get married in November.
I think it's going to be hard to come back from this.
Lindsay especially has a lot of she'll feel so bummed out and scorned.
Her abandonment issues will come raging.
That I think, like you said, they're definitely in a hard place if he was like, let's just pump the brakes, but I don't want to get married right now.
Yeah. Our friend Mariana said that her Aunt Rhonda is going to be working overtime. She's going to be calling Aunt Rhonda for some support right now.
Right. And so how do you feel about this overall?
Okay, not to celebrate anyone's dissolution of their relationship, I just have to say I'm in the background slow clapping, saying, well, guess I was right all along. I just feel validated and vindicated from all the trolls online who are making me feel insane for feeling like something was off and wrong in this relationship.
Right. So, yeah, for people who are not like fully caught up maybe on this story, there was a lot of celebration and jubilation and well wishes when Carl and Lindsay proclaimed their love, got together, and then proposed, and ultimately we're getting married. Andy Cohen, you told me this, which I'm still kind of stunned by. He said, this is the one relationship that all Bravo fans can celebrate. And then, you know, if you watch Summer House, I guess with the lens that you and I have, there was a lot of what do you say, red flags in their relationship that seemed to bubble up pretty often. And we also saw their entire trajectory on the show when they tried to date once before, and their friendship. And also when you've seen Lindsay long enough, you kind of know a little bit about what potentially is going to go wrong in the relationship. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot wrong. It was like, you know, their dynamic was weird. He was freshly sober and probably needed to take a minute to be only about himself and not, you know, because the whole thing, right, is that you need to take it slow after when you're sober, because you will then, there's transference potentially of being like codependent with someone.
Did that. If I remember correctly, he had that year where he was like, I'm going to be sober with myself before I can date. And then he was like, hey, I just hit that year mark, and there was that girl that he was dating that he didn't date for very long. And then he was like, I can finally start a relationship. But then that didn't last at all. Okay. So he could have been out of the window to where he was too fucked up to be in a relationship, you know, emotionally fucked up. But still, it does seem like it moved way too quickly. Yeah. The Lindsay and Carl era. It happened so fast.
Yeah. And it was like he was grieving as well.
Yes.
It just felt like built on sadness.
Yes. Can you remind me of, like, because I remember Kyle and Amanda's wedding, obviously, and I remember that's when Carl and Lindsay sort of like announced that they were dating. Do you remember that?
Right.
But I didn't remember any like lead up to that. They were even like, it just came out of nowhere.
Well, there was a lot of question about that, because then Lindsay supposedly grabbed Austin's dick. Remember?
Right when they announced that they were going to try to be in a relationship with each other.
Right. So people were like, wait, what's your anniversary? Because what I heard was that you were trying to hook up with Austin in the late hours of the wedding.
And then Austin said that they got McDonald's together and just ate it in bed, right? With no dick touching. So they had a fuzzy, you think she did? I
mean, why would he say that? He's a shit stirrer, but not like that.
Austin said she tried to?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I believe Austin. I you know,
like, he's a little bit of a weasel, but I don't think he's just gonna create a complete fabrication.
Yeah, and no offense. Yeah, that'd be a horrible thing to lie about.
Yeah, that'd be insane.
Given the timeline.
And he basically just dropped it the second she was pissed. He was like, all right, whatever, never mind.
And we know Lindsay is sexually attracted to Austin. We saw how she hugged him when she got to Winter House.
Forget her behavior while Sierra was in the house.
She like jumped on top of Austin and like spun around on him for 30 seconds. You remember?
Yeah, she was like, that's just how our friendship is. She was like, sorry that you're mad, but that's just how we are.
This is like not related, but just one tangent. But do you remember that scene in Southern Charm when Cameron arrived at a pool party that Whitney was throwing, and Cameron ran up to Whitney in a bathing suit and jumped on him, just like how Lindsay jumped on Austin and started humping him in the air? Do you remember that?
I don't remember that, but you hate Cameron, right?
I don't hate Cameron, and I wouldn't say I hate Whitney, but Whitney's probably the least loved person I think I've ever seen in the entire Bravo universe. And I just thought it's slightly strange how much Cameron, the affinity she has for Whitney, given everything that we know about him. And I thought it was doubly strange that she jumped on him and started humping him midair at a party.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember that. You have a fresher Southern Charm.
But anyway, not to sidetrack us, but okay, so there was some fuzzy details surrounding when they got together. Austin dropped it. And then the next season we see them, it's like their whole relationship happened off camera. We didn't really get to see their love. We see them by the summer, and they had some troubles last summer, right? I mean, they were fighting about like the Danielle part of everything. I think Lindsay was asking him to defend her well, I don't remember the specific fights, but there was just a lot. There was like a lot of
her wanting to go out or not based on him not drinking, and people being like, "Why don't you do what you want to do? Why do you guys have to do everything together?" And
Yes. Also, they created sort of like a dark cloud around the summer house when they were there. Like Kyle's party mood was definitely hampered. I remember for like the first 3 weeks, and then the one weekend when they decided to like go on a trip, Carl and Lindsay, the house had the most fun they've ever had.
Yeah. Remember when Kyle lost it and he's like, when real like assholes and real bitches get away with it, he was like, it makes me crazy.
Yeah.
Because it was like was that when someone said that was it Danielle that said that Amanda's untrustworthy or something like that?
Yeah.
And he got like so mad.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Kyle got so pissed. Was it Danielle who said Amanda's untrustworthy?
Or was it Lindsay? I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
We're going to have to do a rewatch.
Yeah. But also the group was not as happy, outwardly stoked on this proposal when it happened. They tried their best to be like, we are supportive friends and we love you, but I remember when it they found out, like Kyle told everyone that he had just proposed, it was sort of like
crickets.
Well, it was crickets, and also Danielle obviously had like, she was so bummed out, like so upset, but
and everyone felt like they couldn't celebrate because it would upset Danielle.
Yeah. So there was sort of an unspoken, and then with Danielle spoken, like negative feelings towards this union that a lot of people didn't want to say, but you could just tell, like even at the reunion, you could tell that like people aren't really rooting for Radhouse that much.
Yeah. No, it felt like everyone's a little bit like, okay.
Yeah. And the one person that would have rooted and shouted from the rooftops for them if she had been more involved would have been Danielle.
Right.
And that's the one person that Lindsay spurned, to the goddamn ground the entire time. Her number one fan.
Yeah. She's a fool. Well, I'm sure Danielle will be completely there for her now, which is annoying.
That's what I thought. If you're questioning where Danielle will be in this whole thing, if she will try to like, what's that called? Like seek retribution or try to be justified in anything. What's that called when you lord your opinion over someone? What's it called? When you're like, I was right and you have Schadenfreude?
Yeah.
I don't know. When you're like, what's that called when you're like, I think that Danielle, because of,
I told you so.
I don't think she'll have an I told you so demeanor. I really don't think she'll ever even say those words. I think that she has been such a good friend, and at the reunion she showed that she would willingly let Lindsay back into her life despite how Lindsay treated her. I bet that Danielle is like over there now.
Totally.
With Lindsay, like this will be, Lindsay will fully get Danielle's 100% compassion through this whole thing.
Meanwhile, I do not think that would be the same situation in reverse.
Absolutely not. I mean,
we've seen it.
Yeah. Was Lindsay there when Danielle was breaking up with, what was her? Robert? Robert, yeah.
Roger.
I don't remember much sympathy there, but who knows? Maybe it happened off camera.
Yeah.
So as a viewer, I guess I never got to root for Carl and Lindsay because I didn't see their relationship. We saw it at the end of the season where I think that's season 6 where Kyle and Amanda got married and they go, we're dating now. And then we hear the Austin dick grabbing rumor.
Yeah.
Then we see them this summer and it was like bad vibes.
Yeah.
And there was some rough stuff going on. And I think a lot of people think that Carl is rushing into this because like you said, like in his vulnerable state, he like needs something. I guess you could say maybe needs love right now or compassion, and Lindsay's always been there. So it's a relationship that could have been founded on for the wrong reasons.
Totally.
And who the hell knows what happened this season,
I know.
Summer with
And
them.
did we already say that the breakup is filmed?
Yes.
Supposedly.
It was filmed. So if this happened Tuesday night, which Bravo and Cocktails reported, which good on them. They were very early on this. They said it happened on Tuesday night. So that means that, if they're filming normally on the weekends, Carl might have been like, hey guys, get over here right now. We need cameras here ASAP because this thing needs to be
Why would he want that?
If you're good on Bravo. I think you know that if we've
He
seen
wants his bonus, his Raquel bonus.
definitely gets a bonus, but also it's like if you have the option to call them and you know that it could happen, or you warn them about this, maybe there's, maybe there were seeds planted and they knew that this was on, rocky ground the entire time. But fortunately they filmed it, because we have seen for us. And I think Carl would know that. Carl knows that we've seen a relationship and that all the Summer House viewers want this piece of their life. I mean,
to play QAnon, do you think, because part of me is made a bit suspicious in how perfectly this unfolded for the show. Like,
have you been on QAnon today? It's kind of
there was a Q drop this morning. That's how I found out.
Yeah, I'm shocked that they have that many details about the Carl and Lindsay thing. It's like kind of wild.
Says
yeah. No,
but like, okay, so they got to have a perfect season of events. The bridal shower, the whatever other leading up events they have, and then the breakup happens like almost exactly a year in to the engagement, and the breakup is on camera, which I don't know, outside of just being a good employee, why you would want to share that moment. And I'm like, were they both on board, or did he ambush her, or did she ambush him, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I don't want to be naive about it, but I try to be optimistic and think we knew that there were some cracks in this foundation.
Yeah.
I'm imagining all of the pressure of them doing all these events. They're back in the house again. If they had been fighting, which there's a huge chance that happened, that if he was going to make this decision for something that happened over the last year or this summer specifically, he knows when he has to do it. And like, I don't know, is he going to wait a month after they film to do this? It could have been just something that he knew was right for him. And potentially it could just be, at this point, it could be just calling off the engagement. It could be,
right.
We might watch this in a year and be like, oh, that was it. He said, I don't want to get married in November. It's BravoCon in November and we're going to be too busy. So can we just put the brakes on it? And Lindsay's like, sure, Carlito. Right?
Yeah.
Except it said breakup in the Entertainment Tonight article. It said,
well, yeah.
But is calling off an engagement always almost synonymous with a breakup?
That's my assumption. I mean, I think there can be special circumstances, or you can like get back together, but it's definitely a blow. Because I think there's like a certain level of momentum in a relationship, and I feel like canceling a marriage
it calls everything into question.
Yeah. So I would be surprised, but I'm kind of like, okay, so did they know maybe for a while that this was coming and they wanted, I'm being cynical now, like a Scandival type moment where they're like, all right, well, if we're going to break up, we might as well milk it for content and make everyone talk about us.
So like Lindsay would, I guess I don't put anything past Lindsay, but she would have a bridal party 2 weeks ago and invite everyone knowing that ultimately this relationship is going to end.
Maybe, or she's just like in severe denial.
I mean, the most cynical take is that all of this relationship was for publicity.
Yeah.
I've seen
That's the Galaxy Brain version.
Yeah, and on QAnon, they specifically, that's the main theory, is that Carl and Lindsay are like a publicity generator on their own.
It's like a beard relationship, whether or not there's a gay storyline involved.
Right, which
I will leave to Q to think about that.
Yeah,
but
if you got, we're not going to just spout off every QAnon theory that's on our QAnon subreddit, but
I could because the thing is, their relationship feels so disingenuous that it makes me be like, yeah, maybe it is fake, and that's why it feels so wrong.
Well, the proposal definitely, which we didn't even talk about, I don't think yet, was definitely staged.
Yeah.
And I think we know without a shadow of a doubt what Paige said, that Lindsay knew this was happening. The way she dressed.
1,000 times yes.
Yes, she had like a prepackaged line of her I do, or of what she would say to agree to it. There was a long walk to the proposal, which you just know, like she was all dressed up and there was no reason. So, And then what they tried to say that it was all spontaneous or whatever, but then they instantly called People Magazine and people like got cameras up and raced over there and took their photo at the scene of the proposal.
I don't know if the photos were shared with people or if they had someone on the scene. I'm not sure.
Okay. But that if you are going full conspiracy theory, that is your best piece of evidence because that didn't look right.
Yeah.
We know that was not spontaneous. Lindsay was in on it. And the fact that they like wanted to publicize it immediately, that was kind of...
that honestly, that's why I'm like, believe women, believe Danielle, because she's closest to them and it was not sitting right with her. And everyone who is not on her side was saying, she's, upset about her own breakup and she's jealous and all of this. And I'm like, imagine if you were in her position and this was all unfolding so quickly, and whether or not it's fake or just poorly designed, whatever happening because of trauma, she has a front row seat to be like, this is fucked. Like, this is wrong. Like, I know both of you and this is icky.
Yes.
So that's why I'm always like, I felt the same way, but she loves both of them. Like, she didn't have any reason to do all of this.
That's what we said the entire time. She loves both of them. She is their number one fan. She's the biggest supporter of Carl and Lindsay, and they kept her in the dark. They didn't tell her any of this, and she just, knowing them, she just does feel like it's too fast. Everyone felt that.
Which it feels like they knew that she couldn't be involved because she would shine light on what was wrong. Yeah,
you don't want someone that really knows you to ever tell you the truth that you don't want to admit to yourself. Yeah. Lindsay especially.
Yeah.
I think my theory is that Carl still loves Paige, and he saw Paige this summer, and he saw that she's gearing up to, Craig is champing at the bit to marry Paige.
My God, he should get her back in the snack closet.
I think Carl said, I've always loved Paige this entire time, and I blew it big time. When they started to kiss.
Yeah.
In the third season.
He didn't ask her on weekday dates.
Yeah, I don't know what he was thinking. If he liked Paige, he handled it so badly. She said, I want to be courted. I want to go on dates. And he goes, I do not get your signals at all. And she was like, take me on a date. But anyway, I think he still loves Paige, and he's going to try to swipe Paige away from Craig before he can propose
That would be
her.
a thrill.
You think?
It would be insane.
Would you rather... So now that I've watched Southern Charm, I love Craig, and I love him more than Carl in terms of the love I have for these cast members. You like Carl more than Craig?
Yeah, I think Craig has demonic energy.
What? When did you see that?
When?
Yeah, when did you see he has demonic energy?
I mean...
He was on Adderall a couple times.
Yeah. Well, okay. Have you already forgotten about him being an absolute demon monster on Winter House? Where he threw cash at everyone.
No. That is exhibit A of why I thought I was going to be watching a demon the entire time I watched Southern Charm.
Yeah.
But I still, at this time, what's the date today? I have not seen how, from all of my watching of Southern Charm, I do not understand how that Craig at Winter House is the same Craig that I just watched 8 seasons of on Southern Charm. He never breaks anything on Southern Charm. He never parties. He never stands on tables.
Well, he did break his hand trying to break through a wall with a butter knife.
Yeah, and I love what Austin says about that. He calls it something so funny. He says unidentified alcohol-related incident or something, which is so funny. When you're drunk and you just get hurt and you can't remember how you did it.
It was really bad. Didn't he tear a tendon?
Yeah.
He couldn't move his fingers.
Yeah. He calls it a Mary. You got a mysterious alcohol-related injury.
That's funny.
Yeah, I like that there's a name for that.
But he, I don't know, he was very childish in his breakup with Naomi.
Wow. In what way? No, he wasn't. Naomi
he was bitter.
He was mad at her. She treated him like shit.
Yeah, but he couldn't get his shit together. He thought he was going to get that CEO position at the distillery. He needed to wake up.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Naomi gave him a wake up call for sure, but she was horrible.
She was
about
mean
his,
to him.
She was horrible about his pillow company that ended up being
I
his
know
empire.
she laughed at him.
They show the clip, all the clips of her belittling his pillow company or his sewing, like 5 different times, all the time.
Yeah.
Did she
I
belittle
still,
him?
but I think that like now, I don't know. I think I like her for him more than Paige. Because Paige doesn't like him. Or she doesn't want to marry him, at least.
Okay.
She would really, I feel like, have to swallow something, like swallow a pill, big pill, or they need to have some sort of a revelation, because it just feels right now like they're not on the same page.
Wait, you like Naomi more for Craig?
I just thought that after her breakup, because that guy did end up being a demon also.
Yes.
Matul.
Oh my God, he was awful. Oh my God. Craig was so right
He was
about
right.
him.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But he just came off as bitter.
Yeah.
But I thought I loved when he was still nice to her after the breakup, when he said his heart was broken that she got a nose job because she was so beautiful.
He said he cried when he saw that. I
think he will always love her. I really do.
I felt like Craig was very justified in how he acted after Naomi. She was his biggest hater.
Yeah.
And she's the one who ended the relationship. And he said, I thought our love was stronger than any of this shit and we could have gotten past all of it. It was Naomi who I felt like had the wrong version of Craig. Like she had the Craig that she thought he should be, and he ended up becoming that, like in spite of her.
Yeah.
God. So do you think well, I guess I was going to ask, like, who do you think Paige would actually, like, do you ship
Whitney?
Carl and Paige? Oh my God, Paige and Whitney. Oh, Jesus Christ.
I mean, it was hard to say. I feel like her and Carl were just really having fun. I don't know that there was much more there.
Yeah. I don't know. I felt like I never have seen Carl be more blown away by someone than he was with Paige ever since then, and he just kind of blew it.
Totally. I mean, yeah, all the girls that he's brought home otherwise have been total duds.
Yes. There was one season that ends of Summer House, which I can't remember what season it was, but it was like Carl was like on another planet, so like high on life that he just like said, I want to start dating this person that he just introduced to all the cast members right at the finale. And then it ends with him going like, I want to date you and you are officially my girlfriend. And then we found out by the reunion that it was completely over already. We've never even seen this person.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious what will come next. Obviously, Hubs was a poor choice. And the sad thing is, I actually did like their friendship. Like, do you remember that one time when Lindsay surprised Carl with his mom coming to town?
Yeah.
And it was like cute. Like, I'm not a fan of hers in general, but I feel like their friendship was actually kind of sweet historically. And now it's like ruined.
Well, their friendship was sweet, but I would argue that Lindsay always loved Carl and knew certain things to do to like get him to shine his spotlight.
She was playing the long game.
Yes. If you watch Summer House with that in mind, like rewatch it, I think Lindsay has always loved.
She was trying to
Carl.
insert herself into his family.
And like the mom is definitely, this is like mean, but it's like that's definitely, she knows how much, it could have been genuine, obviously, but it's just like that's a good thing
manipulation.
to do. A manipulation because you know how much Carl's mom means to him. They're so bonded.
Get in her ear.
Be like, man, these girls that Carl's bringing around are awful, aren't they?
She's like a dirty John who's like, you've had a big loss in your family. Wouldn't it be fun to have a wedding soon? Something to celebrate?
Is that what
Don't you want that?
Is that what Dirty John did?
Well, he's pulling a Brooks. He's just manipulating. More about money, but I just call any like relationship scammer Dirty John.
Yeah. And we saw Brooks is one.
Yeah.
Ryan has the hallmarks of one.
Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, is that everything we have to say? I mean,
yeah, more updates to come. When is Summer House? When does it usually start?
Like as viewers to watch?
Yeah.
Around the winter, like I think it has the same schedule as Vanderpump Rules, like January or February.
Right.
I think they run them at the
together,
exact same time, like 1 week staggered.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be wild. We're gonna be watching Vanderpump Rules, where Schwartz is dyeing his hair blonde.
Yeah.
And then we're going to be watching Summer House, where the disillusion of a huge relationship happens.
I can't wait. I fucking love Summer House.
Me too. I love Southern Charm now too. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
those three are like the holy trinity.
Yeah. The under 42s.
The under 42s are bringing it so hard, and Housewives.
This week was kind of a flop city, don't you think?
Oh God.
3 out of 3.
Oh, last week was 3 for 3. This was 0 for 3.
I watched
thought,
all 3 last night, and I was like,
Oh my God, that was what it was. This was a flat line for me. I almost don't want to stop talking about Southern. Yeah. I don't want to stop talking about Southern Charm just because of how bad this shit was that we had to watch.
Yeah. I will say, we'll get into it, but like they all sucked and Atlanta was like boring finale. But then after what would you call it? The update at the end was like action packed.
Yeah,
I cried like twice.
Yeah, it was. Okay, well, are we done with the news section? No other news
Was
happened,
there anything
right?
else? I saw that Stassi was on Lala's podcast, but I haven't listened to it
She
yet.
was? I didn't see. Oh my God.
Lala was like, getting you on this podcast was like having Beyonce on the podcast, which
When did this happen?
I just saw a video this morning, so maybe it's like brand new.
Oh my God. Well, maybe. Okay. All right. Well, that's too bad. I mean, it just happened. Okay. We can't be judged for that.
No, maybe we can talk about it on the Patreon tomorrow, which will be Monday for listeners.
Oh, I wanted to say one update.
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, even though we're in flop city, the garbage bin of Bravo right now with these 3 shows that are currently airing. We are in the full-blown dustbin.
We should make that a segment.
The dustbin minute?
Yeah. Like, what are you putting in the dustbin this week?
I love that. I'm putting in the dustbin. I'm putting RHONY in the goddamn dustbin. I almost
the
don't want to.
The entire franchise?
No.
Or the current iteration?
Yeah, old RHONY. My favorite thing in the world. I think, no, the new RHONY. I'm sorry. But if you watched that episode and you found joy in it, we want to hear from you. I want to hear someone, and I'm looking at YouTube too. If you liked the Wreath What You Sow episode of RHONY, I have to hear 5 positive things that you have to say about it that you enjoyed. And I almost feel bad because this is a place where we celebrate the things we love.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we don't love Carl and Lindsay's relationship. Maybe we don't love every episode of Orange County. But overall, I want to be positive. So how long do we continue to talk about something that provides no joy?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if we're just dogging on it, I'm sure Bravo would be like, please stop talking about RHONY. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
But I still want to talk about it because it does have the potential possibly to get better. I mean, I can't imagine it after last week's episode. But I wanted to say, even though we're in Flop City, I find hope. I think there's light at the end of the tunnel for Southern Charm, the under 42s. I think they're going to come back in full force. This Taylor shit. Taylor is hooking up with Austin, hooking up with Shep again.
Yeah.
That new guy. Did you see that guy? His name's like JT.
Yeah.
Who's headbutting Austin and falling off
my
stools
gosh.
and calling Shep old.
Yeah.
I think Southern Charm has the potential. I think, and people are tooting its horn early. They're saying, get ready.
Yeah.
Craig is tooting. I think Southern Charm could be good. And I also wanted to say that I was so wrong about Salt Lake City season 2 last week.
Oh, wow.
So I
You're
was
back on board?
Yes, I only watched the first 8 episodes
Okay.
of season 2, and I was like, this is absolute dog shit. I'm going to proclaim from the rooftops that season 2 is officially dog shit. And now I'm burning through it. And the Jin Shah arrest happens right at the halfway mark. Mm-hmm. And after that, it's firing on all goddamn cylinders. Every single thing is about the Jin Shah arrest. And all of the drama, conflict is organic because they're all fighting over when this happened and who they can trust. And, it just really realigns everyone around something real. Whereas the first half of the season, they were sputtering. They're like RHONY. They're trying to drudge up shit that they can talk about. And then they have this impactful thing. And the rest of it is like gold.
We should go to the site of the Shah Rest, the beauty lab and laser parking lot.
I'm all in. I'm like, and now
we should just drive the few more hours from Vegas.
No, I would love to. Now that Salt Lake City had that resurgence, I'm like, even season 3, which you can tell me, is season 3 on par with the Or do they have a nadir again because
I remember thinking season 3, there's only 3 seasons, right?
only 3.
I remember by the time I was in the 3rd season, I was finally like, all right, I can follow. There's drama between Whitney and Heather.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That, like you
Like
saying
major.
that, because they are so aligned. They're
Yeah.
a great organic friendship.
Yeah,
and
I
family.
like them. It's kind of sad. It's like when it's kind of like Bethany and Jill or whatever or something like that, or like Nene and Kim, where you're like, come on, guys, like
Okay.
get it together.
All
like
How are Meredith and Lisa? No big spoilers,
Well,
but just
there's a hot mic moment.
that's so.
Oh, that's season 2.
So season 2 finale has Lisa calling Meredith a goddamn whore
Yeah.
who's fucked half of New York City,
Yeah.
which was, when you're watching it, it's kind of unprovoked.
Yeah.
I like wasn't exactly sure what Meredith did, but Lisa had like a legitimate like meltdown.
Yeah.
Like where she's screaming for 30 minutes or whatever. And I was like, no one who's faking this would scream for like 30 full minutes. Like, she
Right.
was having a legitimate meltdown and she was just saying anything. So anyway, I'm sorry for what I said about season 2. It's actually
Okay.
great. And I'm excited because I think by the time we have the next Turtle Time, Salt Lake
It'll
City
be on.
season 4.
I know. I was thinking, I didn't realize it was on so soon. And I also didn't realize that this week's Atlanta was the finale. And I was like, there's going to be 4. I was like, I can't watch 4.
Oh,
But-
no. But
But there is going to be reunions.
I know.
So,
So
there
we'll-
will be 4.
So we get to, what I like to do is just give the due of how much joy it provided. You know
Okay.
what I mean? Like if
Yeah.
Atlanta reunion,
The reunion looks good.
yes. She News,
She News. Looks like there's a lot of documents.
Candy and Drew. Candy is no longer letting what Drew said about the past and the working conditions go unspoken. She says that she thinks Drew is gaslighting Ralph. You saw that little part? No. Okay. Yes, it does look good.
And Ralph comes out and she's like, I don't even know why you're here.
Yeah.
It looks good.
So do you want? Okay, so just to end my little thought is that even though, for our Turtle Time listeners, we might be in a flop era, it's ending, and I think Salt Lake City and Southern Charm have real promise. So don't just give up completely on the
Yeah.
Bravo universe and Turtle Time, right?
No, there's more to come. I agree. The under 42s will save us. I'm excited. Maybe Salt Lake will save us.
I
Yeah.
think Salt Lake could save us because, like you said, once you get to know the people and the cast have conflict that is earned and has existed for a couple seasons, and you know them more, like how I don't know the RHONY people at all, so I don't give a shit about what they're fighting about. Once you know them and you know the things that provokes conflict in them, it gets so much better. Like
Totally.
3rd and 4th seasons of franchises are usually really good.
Yeah.
Because it's like they know what to do, they know what
They
works.
know each other.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that could be
Also, there's that clip of Mary Cosby being like, listen up, bobblehead.
I like that. She calls them bobbleheads in season 2. Mary Cosby
I'm so scared of her.
might be just on the cusp of someone that you potentially shouldn't film.
Does she have a official? Is she a snowflake holder, or
I
she
think-
is?
I mean, unless she's a friend of, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I think she's fully back.
Yeah.
Did you see you? And so I just finished season 2. She invites Jen Shaw to her church, and one of the congregants gives a tribute to Mary Cosby. Basically saying
She's God.
She's God. I'm like, God damn.
She's a full L. Ron Hubbard.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that Salt Lake City was boring, but then when you think about where they are, like I do like that it's all in the winter, and I like that we've never seen this type of environment before, and I do like the undercurrents of religion.
Totally.
Like, kind of, yeah.
It looks like there's gonna be drama about Lisa Barlow's son's mission or something like that. Like, and Heather is like, their tenets are bad. Like she's like now so anti-Mormon, and I think Lisa's gonna be like, stop.
Do you like, oh my God, Heather? Oh God, what's Heather's? Whitney. Do you like Whitney's husband and her beautiful relationship?
Their
Is anything-
horny relationship.
Do you like it?
I think it's fun. It seems like they actually like love each other, but
Yeah.
this season there's talk of the ring coming off.
No way.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
It's in the
all right.
preview.
Okay, I'm right. Okay, I'm burning through.
Well, because
season-
he got fired from his job because she was too horny on TV. Remember? Oh, sorry. Spoiler.
It's okay. Okay, so I was going to
It's
say.
a point of contention. His job doesn't like her sexy ways.
Well, last Salt Lake City in the finale, Whitney says, honey, John, get in here. I know our sex life has been sort of sputtering. Get in here. We're going to do sex paint. And she lathers him up in black paint, and they lather each other up while they're nude.
Do you think that'll be on display at BravoCon, the art?
I think the
That
art
would
that
be
they
great.
made, for sure. And I was like, is this the first time that Bravo is going to show a couple have
Actually
sex?
fucking.
It was the closest they ever, because Bravo has a very, they get out of the bedroom
Yeah.
the minute it starts to actually get horny. Once the camera people start to get, they're like, you know what I mean? They get out of there. And I was like, seriously, I was like, is his name John or his name's Jake?
What is it? Whitney
Whitney
Wild
and
Rose and
Justin?
Yeah.
Justin? I thought they were going to start to make love, and then it was going to be the season finale was going to end, but they stopped it right before he bent her over. It was really interesting. But anyway, I'm going to watch season 3. I'm hyped up, and
I mean, they at least have something going on,
yeah,
like,
their relationship.
yeah.
Yeah, it was great. Okay, so Salt Lake City, Southern Charm. So let's let these flop franchises sputter out. You know what makes me sad though is we have a lot of RHONY left.
Yeah. We're like not even halfway.
No. I mean, are they going to do 16 episodes of this show? I feel like Andy should just say, guys, like, I think Bravo should have an interruption during a RHONY broadcast, and he should say, State of the Union. He should say, I'm so sorry, I was wrong. We're not going to finish the rest of the season. We're going to play old RHONY highlights until we can figure out what the hell is going on.
It just changes to that classic screen that has like the Native American, masthead with, have you know what I'm talking about? It's like black and white with like, you have no idea what I'm talking about.
No, I'm thinking of like, we
There's
interrupt
like-
this broadcast, but you tell me, you explain it to me. Maybe I'll
There was
remember.
like when TV used to like go off air, there would be like an
Yeah.
image that was like a placeholder.
It was,
I almost just knocked over my coffee.
and it would have you say a Native American
Yeah.
masthead that would just be in the center of the frame.
Yeah. Hold
I
on.
was thinking we now interrupt this broadcast for an urgent message from Andy Cohen, and it should have happened over the last. Oh yeah.
like a test pattern, they call it.
Oh yeah. It would be like right after Aaron's like, I am going to create conflict with Jessel now, and she runs over to Jessel's house, and it would have that placeholder. And I'm so sorry, but we have an urgent message from Andy Cohen, and Andy just goes, it's in the
Presidential.
It's in the Bravo clubhouse. And he says, I am so sorry for what I did. He admitted, we always talk about, he admitted in Daddy Diaries that this was fully his idea. And he had to convince.
But he's still, I think, holding
No.
strong. Remember, I sent you on TikTok, he was getting interviewed by Isaac Mizrahi, and they were talking about New York and how he goes, it's so stressful trying to get it right, trying to keep the show going for so long. And he goes, thank God we got it right. And all the comments were like a million comments saying, didn't get it right, wrong, flop, it's so
Yes.
bad, can't watch it, unwatchable. Like, I was like, okay, so there are a lot of people that aren't down. Obviously, the ratings speak for themselves. I wonder what they were this week.
They are stable at 500,000, which
Okay.
is Atlanta gets around 800,000 each week.
Yeah, which is like not good for them.
No, that's low for them. Used to be the highest rated franchise by far. Low is Miami. Miami is like 300,000, but I think that's because it was ported over from Peacock
Yeah.
and people like are not used to Miami or whatever. This is low for a franchise, but it's not so low. Like Sonia and Luann Crappy Lake got around 300,000 too. So it's
Okay.
like all ratings are suffering, but RHONY is definitely in a stagnant low
Yeah.
place.
Well, that's why it's so insane that, thanks Bethany for reminding us that the last season of during Scandival, Vanderpump was getting like 11 million.
Yeah.
It's just crazy that that's still possible.
Yeah.
Like the people are there,
People are there.
but they're not being tapped.
Right. We need constant, huge scandals to entertain us. So
I bet the new season of Vanderpump will do really well at the beginning, at least.
it will.
I mean, it will be so far away still, but I think it'll have way more of a boost than most Housewives.
Yeah. So I think so too. For sure, there will be residual Scandival effect. I think with Rachel, gone, if she doesn't ever come back, it's going to feel like it's missing a huge piece. And you're going to be like, wait, when are they talking? When is this other shoe going to drop in terms of like when this will happen? And I don't think Sandoval is going to be very forthright. Nobody trusts him. So you're not going to believe anything he says about, Scandoval. So I don't know. I think it's going to be one of those hubristic seasons where they think the world is loving them and they can do anything in the world. And that's why they're at See You Next Tuesday every single week, and why they're doing water tasting and stuff.
Did we talk about Ariana on Sheena's podcast already, or that came after?
I think it was like right after we recorded, maybe the day after.
I listened to it, and every time I hear Ariana talk about this situation, I'm so like on her side.
Oh yeah.
Like she just makes sense. Yeah. And I believe everything she says, and I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, no, she's so thoughtful. She also is able to consider the other side and always give
she
benefit.
was not mean about Rachel at all. Like she said that there was a lot of things she said that she didn't like and stuff like that, but she was like really nice.
For the most part, the thing that made her the most sad was that Rachel is negating their friendship. Yeah. And is saying now that she doesn't consider them friends. When Ariana said, we had real talks together, I told her things, we actually did hang out alone. Yeah. Regardless, I don't even know why that point is something that Rachel is sticking to so much. No matter what,
Bethany was pushing that.
Oh, I know.
Like
she
was
was
like,
really know her?
Yeah. Did you guys like go to lunch? Like, how many times did you actually hang out? Like, were you even close? It seems like you weren't.
Yeah. So Ariana was like definitely mad at Bethany. She was like, why don't you know anything you're talking about?
She was like, I don't know you, lady.
Yeah, I called her lady. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she should be pissed. That was so stupid. And I liked that. It seems like Ariana's very. If you follow her on like Instagram, you can tell she has a very tight knit group with her friends Brad and Logan. Like they do everything together. And so for her to have let Rachel into that world, I think was a big deal to her. And so she's pissed that now she's making it seem like they weren't close at all. 'Cause she's like, I don't just like hang out with anyone. She was like, I don't let just anyone stay at my Coachella house. Yeah. I love how Coachella is always such a big part of their lifestyle.
That might be like the biggest thing that Tom and Ariana had in common. Like their Coachella
like annually.
affinity.
Totally. Yeah. And then I forgot about the reminder that when this rumor was starting that Ariana was like, I don't even hang out with Lala and Katie like that. Yeah. So how would they even know? Yeah. And I love that she still holds firm to that. She's like, I mean, on a day-to-day basis, they're not really around. Yeah. So I'm curious. I'm, always wondering about the working relationship between Katie and Ariana. She was saying they've agreed on everything for the business so far. Yeah. Which I don't know if that means that they both have aligning vision or if they're both kind of passive.
Yeah, good question. I mean, it's going to be tough because their correlation and what their interests doesn't always overlap. So it'll be interesting who gets the final say.
Okay, so
maybe Penny gets the final say.
It's true. Tomorrow is September 1st, meaning they did not open in August.
So we sort of know why that's happening, and they talk about this in the interview. So we're still talking about the interview. Robertson now wants that street to be more walkable. So all of the
Vanderpump Triangle.
Yes. Yeah, so
they want it to be like that Silver Lake Triangle where it's like no cars.
Right.
Which would be cool. Great for Lisa Vanderpump.
Oh, they want to make that street walkable?
I think so.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I think that was my understanding.
Oh, I thought they just wanted to make the sidewalks more like accessible, and so they were any outside structures had to go down. But if that's going to be a full path, you don't really need that street.
I guess.
I mean, it's convenient, but it's also like that's the most bogged down street because it's the most action packed spot in West Hollywood. That little strip there, so it would be kind of nice.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Lisa probably called the city and requested that, although she doesn't have pump anymore, which it would have been really the best for. But like, think about spilling out of the Abbey onto a,
concrete,
like just hang out. They could have string lights across.
It'd be beautiful,
could be nice.
Like a promenade.
Yeah,
is a promenade what I'm thinking?
Yeah, that's how like Santa Monica Promenade is.
So you'd walk out of the beautiful Abbey, which, they're like talking about selling the Abbey.
They can't.
No. No, that's a historical landmark.
Hollowed ground.
Huh?
Yeah, hollowed ground.
But I couldn't imagine a beautiful night where you walk out of the Abbey and then you're with your significant other and you're dancing along the promenade under those beautiful lights.
Get
and
a sandwich.
Go get a sandwich from something about her, and then you pop in for a little brunch at Tom Tom / Pump.
Yeah. Go get, I don't know, a glass of wine at Sir. That's all.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Just one little glass of wine. Oh, one final thing about the interview that I thought was interesting, Ariana and Sheena, was that Ariana seems to definitely believe the FaceTime was recorded without Rachel's consent.
Yeah.
And she said that is something that Rachel should continue to bring up with Tom Sandoval if that was illegally recorded. So it sounds true to her.
Yeah.
Sounds true to Stassi. I think a lot of people in the know believe this happened, and if that's true, Sandoval is getting away with a potential potential crime, revenge porn, or some people might consider it that, and he is getting definitely painted in a sympathetic light because a lot of people, no matter where he went in his life and no matter who he turned back on his side, some people could never let that die.
Yeah. I saw a lot of comments about when Stassi said that people were like, I can't believe Stassi got canceled and he's still on the show. And now I'm like, I'm scared. Like, I'm like, do you think Bravo would, I don't know, ever take action in that regard? Would that be a fireable offense in their eyes? Probably not.
I think that is why Bravo allegedly or potentially would have removed that from the cut, because they don't want, no matter who it is, even though he's the ultimate villain of that season, they can't let something potentially illegal be in the edit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In the final edit. It's like it's which I don't know, have there been other illegal things that were captured on camera? I mean, yes, right? There's been other illegal things that have happened, and
I feel
jaywalking.
Jax's sunglasses stealing.
Totally. So,
but that was very cut and dry. I feel like this is more like, it depends. I feel like she would need to press charges to take it to the next step,
right?
Which I don't know if she will. I don't know what their relationship is anymore.
A lot of people are also to talk shit about Rachel still. They're like, oh no, there's no way she didn't give him consent. She for sure. And it's like, why would she lie about that aspect?
I mean, whatever. I bet because of the power he had over her that if he did make the request, I bet she would have said yes. But it sounds like he did not ask.
No. I mean, I don't doubt it. I think it's something that he thought in his drunken party brain that it was the coolest thing in the world that he was filming.
Yeah. Ariana was saying, she was like, she should, because I guess Raquel, Rachel's lawyer, sent a cease and desist to the entire cast if they were to have received it. And Ariana was like, good, like she should do that. And my lawyer responded in kind, saying like, here's proof or whatever that I did not share it, etc. But she was like, she should be doing that. That's what I would do, Totally, and I'm just like, it's so crazy that this whole situation left them all needing to be lawyered up.
I know.
And doing all these responses. And I'm like, that's so expensive. Yeah. Like, I remember kind of making fun of Sheena when she was crying about having to go to court, because we did go to court that day and it was the most low key, like traffic court vibes ever. But I get that it's like stressful, you're being accused of something, you have to spend money to have a lawyer like on retainer to respond to all this shit, and you're just like, I would do anything to avoid legal anything. Like, I do not want to deal with shit like that. So I get why they were all kind of traumatized.
Totally. And then Sheena reiterated again, she was like, and for the record, I did not punch her. Like, again, like Sheena will not let that die that she didn't punch her.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I feel like that's dead in the water. Like, the charges were dropped. Right. The restraining order was dropped. It's just like, whatever.
She'll never admit it.
But Rachel, she brought it up on the podcast again, saying, I have a permanent scar. Yeah. And Bethany was like, oh my God, that's terrible.
Yeah. Well, okay, well, that was that's our news, right?
Yeah, that was the State of the Union.
We talked about more than I thought.
I know, we covered a lot of ground.
Yeah.
We have BravoCon to look forward to. Did you see the footage on TikTok of Jax at Sir?
Yes, I did.
For some reason, Sandoval pulled up in like a Rolls Royce. I don't know whose car that is.
Okay.
And then Jax was there filming, and there's footage, not to spoil it, I don't even like living in the future this way, but Jax and Schwartz are in a animated, if not heated, conversation together.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, Jax would be in an animated, heated conversation with anybody.
I'm just surprised they got him on the grounds. I was like shocked to see he showed up for real.
I know. I couldn't, Sir Brunch, I couldn't believe it. And there was a footage of him like singing while James was DJing and stuff.
Oh yeah, Guillermo went live.
Yeah. This whole season to me seems like it takes place in an alternate universe. A
Not
Vanderpump
canon.
bizarre. Yeah. I don't think this season is canon. I think Alex Baskin is going to officially state at some point, he's going to say, just so you guys know, season 11 is not part of the canonical Vanderpump Rules universe.
He's like Carol Baskin. He's a liar.
Who? Wait. Carol Baskin. The Tiger. What's the guy?
Yeah, Tiger King.
Was Carol Baskin a liar?
To him.
What did she lie about to Tiger
They think
King?
that, well, she was trying to, I fucking hate Tiger King. But
Me
I think
too.
it's like a very funny reference at this point.
Yeah, right.
It's so outdated.
But it was like, was that was like in COVID? It was like the
peak.
first.
Like it was like the first month of COVID. So everyone on earth watched it because we were just like chained inside.
Sucked.
It was so nasty. I hated watching the way that the animals were living because it was disgusting and terrible.
Yeah.
And like ban all capture of exotic animals. Like fuck that.
Yeah.
But she was trying to like bust him. So then he was against her and they had an online feud. And then there was a rumor that she'd killed her husband.
Like fed him to a tiger?
Maybe. And then remember there was that TikTok dance that was like, killed her husband, bagged him, Carol Baskin. And like Lisa Rinna did a dance to it.
God. To what
It's like
song?
your worst nightmare.
Lisa. Oh my. If you pull
It
up.
was to I'm a Savage.
What did it say? I'm a tiger.
It was like
I killed my
Carol Baskin, killed her husband, snatched him or something like that.
Lisa Rinna. Dance. If I saw that footage right now, I would. It's my nightmare. Imagining
I'm gonna
Lisa
text
Rinna
it to you.
dancing to the Tiger King remix of "I'm a Savage."
It's like, can't convince me that didn't happen. Carol Baskin.
That we were just, our minds were just completely COVID. We had COVID brains, and that we were like, this is good television. It was just.
I mean, that's like peak. My revenge or my campaign against Netflix continues. That was just them cashing in. They were so lucky.
Yes.
I remember I just was so desperate for Community that I was like, Jimmy, let's watch Tiger King. Everyone is watching Tiger King. And he was like, this shit fucking sucks. I hate it. Turn it off. And I was like, but everyone is talking about it. And he was like, it's awful.
Yeah.
Please.
And they continued to talk about it for 2 weeks after, and then it was never heard from again. Oh God, I was thinking of another show that was just like that, but I forgot. Oh, I was thinking that it's kind of just a shitty Grizzly Man.
Yeah.
Like Grizzly Man is so much better. It's 2 hours.
Yeah.
That person is more unhinged.
There's way more to think about there.
Way more. Werner Herzog is being so beautiful and poetic about nature. When he's like staring in the bear's eyes and he's like, I see no compassion in these bear's eyes. You remember that?
You must never listen to this.
Oh my, could you imagine that audio when you're listening to it? He got it. That was he said that was his girlfriend and he got her killed too, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The bears were
Don't fuck with the bears.
They were so hungry that summer. He got them right at the tail end of summer, right before they were going to go into hibernation and there was no fish.
Yeah.
What was that guy's name? Timothy Treadwell?
I think so. Isn't that an actor?
Timothy.
Does Timothy Treadwell, was he on West Wing?
Timothy Treadwell. Timothy. I think his name was Timothy.
Hold on, let's see. Timothy.
People don't reference Grizzly Man a lot anymore, don't you think?
Oh, wait, you were right.
Timothy Treadwell?
Yeah, you were
Good.
right.
All right. That's, if you guys were Tiger King lovers, but then you realized it was pure shit and you haven't seen Grizzly Man, watch Grizzly Man because it's about a man who connects to bears in a unhealthy way and they eventually become his downfall.
Yeah. All of the Werner docs are great.
Yeah, there are so many good ones, and I can't think of one other one right now. Except he goes into a volcano. Oh, yeah. The death row one where he doesn't think that one guy should be sentenced to death who like
Finn.
killed. No, that's Errol Morris.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. No, but there is.
I get them.
But Werner does a death row one too.
Yeah.
He talks to a guy who's scheduled to die like in the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
He talks about what this guy did. This guy like murdered people, and then he's basically saying, is the death penalty ever justified, no matter what someone does?
Yeah.
But the guy he interviews,
it's pretty bad.
yeah, it's like, well,
is that the one when he talks to is it the executioner or just one of the guards who said, he's like, yeah, it seems like he's tried not to think about it too much, but he basically is like, my dreams are haunted and I go home at night and like throw up. Like it's like
I think
impossible to not be
I
overtaken by
I think that's the same
the
one.
horrors.
Yeah, you can only watch that documentary once because you never want to see it again. But yeah,
Cave of
Dreams. I think that's when he goes into a cave.
That's Lascaux.
What's that?
The cave drawings in France.
Oh, you're thinking of another one.
Oh my God.
I always thought, what?
What? Isn't that it?
No, you're right. No, Cave of Dreams. No, you're totally right. I thought you were calling the death penalty one Cave of Dreams. But no, you're just thinking of other Werners.
Yeah, I'm just listing them now.
Yeah, Cave of Dreams. There was that one about the internet where he was like, the internet is going
about the girl in the car accident and her family gets online bullied.
Yeah. Oh, what else did he do? I don't know. He produced The Act of Killing.
Huh, that's a great movie. Have you seen that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh
That's the one where the guy...
The Cambodian
has
killing
to
fields.
confront all of the killings that he perpetuated.
Yeah, and he throws up.
He throws up too.
Yeah.
Just like that executioner guy.
Can't keep it all in. The body keeps the score, am I right?
Totally. If you're filming a documentary and your subject committed some egregious act and you find out while you're filming them and it dawns on them that they did something horrible, they perpetuated a horror and they start to barf on camera, you got yourself a good documentary.
I say action.
Action! Cameron, are you getting this? This guy's throwing up based upon the realization that he perpetuated horrors. That'd be like if we were filming Tom Sandoval and we had a documentary and he was like, I want the record to be straight. I know Turtle Time is like completely objective, which we are, obviously. And he's like, I want the record to be stated that, but he's in that hubristic state. He's still like Timothy Treadwell where he's like, I didn't really do anything wrong because me and Ariana were a brand and we actually didn't love each other. And then he goes, wait, Ariana brought me coffee that morning and she actually, she said something kind of sweet the other day. And then you and I are like going, bro. And then he goes, and then he starts to barf.
Cold sick down his front.
We got a good documentary from that. Do you think he would ever agree to that, even though we just said what our intentions are right now?
I bet he would. Anyone who asked if he would do a documentary, he would do it.
With us.
Literally anyone. So, yes.
Turtle Time presents Tom Sandoval, the story of Tom Sandoval. I mean...
Maybe Nightline could co-produce.
Oh, I know someone at
connection.
Nightline. I would actually, I think she would leave Nightline. She would just join our new Turtle Time Productions.
Villa Grigio production company.
I'm fucking in. That sounds awesome. Yeah, okay. Why do you think these people like Bethany Frankel and Rachel Leviss and Tom Sandoval haven't yet utilized Turtle Time as a platform for objective coverage?
Yeah, they need to learn that we are here.
There's so much hatred in the Bravo universe, and so far I don't see pure objectivity like you and I.
Right. Speaking of that ongoing storyline, Ebony is going to be on Bethany's podcast, which I'm terrified.
Me too. It's like...
Actually, that'll be interesting, though, because Ebony can stand on her own, and she has, like, TV experience. So she won't be strung along the way Rachel was.
No,
But that actually makes it even scarier.
No, yeah. I'm more scared for the fact that I think once that drops, like, Ramona's going to be arrested.
Oh, God. She's going to be indicted at Mar-a-Lago.
I'm afraid the minute that thing drops, there's going to be helicopters circling Ramona's house and she's going to be in jail.
But that's good for us because we need her podcast to end.
Who?
Ramona's.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I will.
I want that SEO back.
What's that word? Schadenfreude?
Yeah.
We ranked Ramona our fourth favorite housewife, but I would not be upset if her rival podcast was, dismantled. I don't want her to go to jail, though.
That would be intense.
Yeah. Well, what do you think? Did we talk enough about the extraneous Bravo-related items?
I think so.
And now it's time to talk about the pure
3
garbage.
shitty episodes.
3 shitty, boring episodes. Yeah,
We'll
let's do
make it entertaining, though.
Well, yeah, we'll try to make it entertaining.
Take a break.
We totally understand if you liked this first hour, but you don't want to stick around. I totally understand. But I promise Amy and I will do our best to make these 3 shitty episodes potentially entertaining, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's take a little certified turtle piss break, and we'll be right back.
Bye.
We're back.
Hello.
How was your piss break?
It was good. It was needed.
Really?
Yeah. I was ready.
Yeah, I was filled up too. So this feels so much better.
I'm really nervous because I'm seeing Beyonce on Saturday, and I'm really excited. I've been living in fear of getting COVID. I'm hoping I'm out of the woods.
Okay.
I mean, I don't have any reason to think.
Yeah.
People I've been hearing have been getting it.
Yes.
And I'm like, that would be truly a nightmare from hell if I got COVID like the day before Beyonce. So I've been taking vitamin C.
Good.
Depending on the location, sometimes I'll wear a mask,
Good.
which I haven't done in a while, but I'm like, not fucking around.
No, you can't let that happen to you. And yeah, it has been secretly going around.
Yeah, I've heard there's a
People aren't really
boost.
talking about it.
No, it's not like it used to be. But the reason I brought this up is because, not the COVID, but the Beyonce is, I'm wearing a skirt dress. Like it's like a dress that has built-in shorts. And I'm also wearing tights. And I'm like, what am I going to do if I have to pee? I'm going to have to completely disrobe.
So skirts, so it's a dress that has an attached shorts to the bottom of it?
Yeah.
And then tights over it?
Under.
Tights that go under the shorts.
Yeah.
So if you were to...
I can't like, this is getting graphic, but pull to the side. Normally in an emergency wearing shorts or whatever, I could just pull to the side.
Yeah.
But since I'm wearing tights, they go all the way up. So I would have to just completely get nude in the SoFi stall.
What if you peed just through it and then brought paper towels and a sanitizer?
I could just wear a diaper. Like Sonia.
Would that affect you at all? Like the dress?
I mean, it's just from Zara. It wasn't that expensive. You could just throw it away.
I'm worried. Are you going to keep your liquid intake to a minimum?
That's
so you
my
don't
thing.
have
I
to?
want to have some cocktails.
Right.
And you know that alcohol makes me have to pee the most.
I think you're going to have to prepare for one. What you should do is you should look up the set list. Does she have an established set list?
I can look at what actually she's playing Friday night, so I could look it up.
I feel like huge artists just have the same set
Yeah,
list. Like Taylor
she's
Swift, Blink-182.
jiggered it a couple times
Okay.
on the tour, but it's like a massive tour, so I think I can look at what she's done this week. And
Like if there's one stinker that you're like, I don't have to hear this.
Yeah.
Crazy in Love. I'm just kidding. I just was thinking of one song. But no, you know, 'cause that's what I did for Blink-182. I knew like the one thing that I could miss, and I just raced over, pissed my pants, or I'm pissed
Didn't
into
piss
a
your
toilet.
pants.
Didn't piss, and then
no, I did consider. I was like, what if I cut the crotch of the shorts and put in like a snap or
What's
a Velcro?
so that you could.
I could like a baby.
Do babies have that? Oh, like a little pajama bottom where you put a little butt flap.
Like
would
that.
you do that?
I don't think I would do the butt flap, but I could do like a crotch hole.
That would be nice. But then you just couldn't, I don't know, like dance and jump up as much as you want.
I couldn't spread my legs because the snaps might open, but then I would still be wearing tights underneath.
Yeah. Well, will you let me know
I
what you do?
Pray for me that I don't have an accident.
I'm brave. I think the best bet is just to pee through them and bring paper towels and a sanitizing spray and just sort of wipe up after, because you don't want to get fully naked in the stall. Imagine the lines.
I know.
Do you think they'll keep the boys and girls' bathrooms for everyone?
It should be neutral.
Well, no, I guess enough. Like I don't know. At Taylor
Beyonce
Swift,
probably is a good mix.
Yeah, because
Taylor
Swift,
Swift
I heard
is
that
like all white women only.
and they let them go into the
they did?
gentlemen's. Yep.
Okay.
Some venues or
Okay.
some. Yeah.
I'm hoping that since this is such a brand new stadium, that their bathrooms are on point and
I've
that there's a
heard
lot of them.
I've heard they're good.
Okay.
But I've heard that it takes years to get out of SoFi Stadium.
Yeah.
But I guess you're prepared for that.
Yeah. We have chosen to park.
Oh,
So we'll see if that's a mistake or not. We just figured if we had a driver or like an Uber, it would take them like 500 years to find us or for
Yeah.
us to find them. And then, so we're doing a parking situation. I'll report back.
I want to hear really all about it. If you had to pee once, if you got naked in the stall, if you did the crotchless option.
Yeah. I'm like, maybe I'll drink heavily pre
Yes. Get one
and then
huge.
pee first.
Yes.
And then maybe I'll only have to go once. Like I'll chill on my drinking
Yes.
during the show.
Pre-game, get drunk as hell, have one victorious
Let it run right through me.
huge piss right before, and then you'll break the seal, but you know how much liquid is in your body at that point
Yeah.
to be sort of judicious.
Can keep an eye on the situation.
the situation. I'm not saying you're not going to have to go once, but at least
No,
it
I'll
won't be like
definitely have to
the
go.
barrier breaking piss.
I'm actually like more concerned about I'm happy to go once during the show at the right time. What really scares me is the mad dash after the show.
Oh no, I
That's like scary.
oh no, oh yeah, I get worried about that at movie theaters. If I'm
Yeah.
watching Oppenheimer and I know I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom, but I don't want to wait until the end when every single person is like, Oppenheimer was great, but I really got to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
You know, the huge rush
Yeah.
that happens. I'm always pretty strategic, so it sounds like
Yeah.
you just have to think about this beforehand. Make sure you do the right thing, and I know you're gonna do the right thing. What if what if we have the next turtle time and you're like still covered in piss?
My head is just down. There's like flies around me. I'm like, I didn't do it.
And for some reason, you're still covered in piss.
It's like 7 days later.
Amy, what happened? You're like, I don't want to talk about it. What's your favorite, real quick, because I don't think I've ever asked you, what's your favorite, if you had to say right now, hand to Bible, what's your favorite Beyonce album?
Ooh, album. Well,
Album. And I'll tell you mine, and I'm not just going to fake it. Do you want me to say first, because I don't
Sure.
care as much, and you're thinking? Beyonce self-titled.
oh,
The
yeah.
one where you open
The game change.
CD, and she's holding her butt in a big corset. Did you ever look at the... It was the one that was a surprise.
2013.
One of the most notable surprise drops.
Yeah, she like invented the game.
Yeah. Was she the first one to ever do that?
Changed
Drake
the
did a-
name. She goes, change the game when that
Digital dropped.
digital drop.
I changed the world. World stop. Right?
I'll always remember it because it came out
No, where you
the
wasn't a
night
digital drop.
before my 25th birthday party.
Whoa.
December, I think 13th, 2013. And I had taken the next day off work because I was having a birthday party that night and I needed to prepare. And so I could stay up late when it dropped at midnight and like watch everything. And
Yes.
so I always remember where I was.
That's awesome. I remember where I was too. I was filming Nathan For You. And it was a late night, and everyone found out that Beyonce had dropped an album. People were like streaming it there because they were just so excited about
Driver,
it.
roll up the partition, please.
Oh, it was awesome. Okay, so that's my favorite. What was
I mean,
yours?
that's really good. That got a lot of play for me.
Mine, the song with Drake.
Yeah.
You remember that one?
Oh my, just for the kingdom, loving away. All that
All
I
day
can think of is
it
we should get married.
We should get married. What does Drake say when he comes on?
Get carried away.
He goes, what does Drake say?
It's like
All day and night I think of you. Right?
Yeah.
Late at night I think of you. That was a
she
good song.
she does a little quote of him on one of her new songs.
Yeah.
It's like
Drake?
What is it? What has
Drake ghost writes and gets ghost production on a lot of Beyonce songs.
cool. It doesn't bother me that she
No,
doesn't write her songs.
No,
I
me
don't give
neither.
a
Drake
shit.
does it. Kanye does it. It's way more prevalent than you would ever imagine.
Yeah.
Ghost writing.
Yeah.
People just love to have like sole authorship and pretend that they're like this beautiful creative spark that can only, originate solo music or whatever, but it's not true in a lot of cases. There's
Yeah.
so many people helping out.
I remember it was exciting. On her last album, she credited Animal Collective, and it was for like something that she was definitely just covering her bases. Like,
Yeah.
it was like she sampled them or whatever. But I was like, that's fun.
Yeah, that was fun. What was that for? My Girls? The song?
What was it? My brain is so rotten. I don't
Yeah.
know. But I'm not as good at as we learned with the top 10 Housewives, I'm not like a ranker.
I know.
Like I don't like
That's not how
care
you
to
think.
rank.
Yeah, that's how my brain works in like lists.
Yeah. But like
So
that
you-
was major. Like that was huge. Definitely like top. But then like Formation was such like the lemonade of it all
Yeah.
was like so major.
was it was self-titled in Lemonade, right?
Yeah.
And then Renaissance. I don't think people
Yeah.
put it Renaissance as like her top number one.
No, but it's like I have seen her. The first tour I saw her on was the Miss Carter World Tour in like 2012.
With Jay-Z.
No, that was On the Run.
Oh.
Which was great. I went to that too. But I kind of I feel like I got in. I mean, I've always been a fan, but I went to her tour I feel like everything after self-titled is like everyone realized.
Yes.
Like there was then, I feel like the Super Bowl was when everyone recognized that she
Right.
was
She became like a
unique.
top 5 performer of all time.
But I saw her before that, and there's some songs from like her album 4
Yeah.
that are so good. What's the one after that? I'm so bad at it.
Okay.
Well,
I'm sorry.
I just love them all.
I'm sorry I asked.
But I'd seen her on tour like 5 times, and I was like pre-Renaissance. I was like, I think I'm good. Like I've seen her so many times. It's always awesome, but I probably don't need to spend like $500+ anymore. Like I've seen it. I get it.
Yeah.
And then she does this whole fucking
Genre pivot.
fun thing that is so up my alley.
Yes.
That I'm like, well, never mind.
Yeah.
I gotta go.
That was smart of her. Like it's like if you want this era, you know, you have to see this. Like I'm
it's
doing
like
a
totally
full
different.
stylistic direction.
Even though
change.
at first I thought maybe that the tour was gonna be like just the album and like just that vibe, but it's encompasses all of her eras.
A lot of big tours happening right now.
Yeah.
Beyonce, Drake, Taylor Swift. What do you think is going on? They all wanted
Money grab.
They're all raking in because COVID was slow, and so
Yeah.
these are the first big tours they can do.
Taylor Swift, you're gonna be able to watch the Eras tour at AMC.
We're gonna go.
Yeah.
Megan and I, because she didn't get to go to the tour and she wanted to so bad.
I mean,
so we're gonna
why
go.
not? I'll literally go to the movies to see anything.
Will you
So,
go with us?
when are you going?
October. No, I'm just kidding. We'll talk.
We'll
about
talk.
it. Okay. So good to know that you. So you like all of them. 4, self-titled, Lemonade, Renaissance.
Yep.
Okay.
What's the one? There's Dangerously in Love is her debut, right?
I'm not sure. My Beyonce fandom coincided with self-titled. I didn't listen to her before, except the songs where she was with Jay-Z. And
Yeah.
they were like, we're in love.
Oh yeah, I Am Sasha Fierce.
Oh, that was
Remember
interesting. That was kind of a...
There's some good jams on there though.
That's awesome. I'll listen to Sasha Fierce.
B-Day.
Oh, right.
Oh my god, don't even get me started
Okay.
on
good.
her Coachella performance is the best thing I've ever seen.
I'm going to watch that. You think it's on YouTube?
It's on Netflix, the whole thing.
Whoa. Oh, I think
Yeah.
I watched that.
It's sick.
Okay. All right. I'm going to watch it. So we are going to talk about RHONY first. This
Yes.
episode is episode 7.
You wreath what you sow.
Urethra. Whoever's doing the titles, they're actually more creative than you'd think. But I could not believe this is only the 7th episode. It feels like this season has been interminable for me. We're like potentially a third of the way through. Well, no, there's not gonna be 20. Well, yeah, 21.
Maybe they'll
possibly
make
with-
it a little shorter because of all the turmoil with losing a cast member.
so that they lost like 3 episodes. I mean,
Maybe.
if this is 16 episodes, oh my god! But
Yeah, because Atlanta it was 16 episodes pre-reunion.
right,
So.
so like it's always between 16 and 20. And Salt Lake City, I was like stunned. Salt Lake City season 2 had 20 episodes. I
Whoa,
was like, what the fuck?
it's a lot.
Yeah. So RHONY, hopefully they'll put them out of their misery a little
That's like-
early.
Half a year,
I know.
52 weeks.
Well, they had, I think the Jen Shaw stuff generated so much good, entertaining television that they were just like, let's give this the the longest run we can.
Yeah.
Like
Your wife, Megan, showed us that you can write to Jen Shaw in prison.
Yeah.
Should we write her a note?
Yes. Should we tell everybody how you
Sure.
do this? If you miss Jen Shaw, so a lot of people, me included, think what Jen Shaw did was bad, right?
It was pretty bad.
I consider it bad.
It's worse to me than Erica Jane because it's directly her fault.
Oh, yeah.
Completely.
Oh, by far.
Although we didn't talk about it, maybe we'll talk about it later, but the Erica Jane LA Times article I need to read about the designer that's suing her, and there's a whole Amex scam.
She's not committing credit card fraud.
No, but it sounds like her husband was, and
Girardi?
yeah,
Well, we know what he was doing.
totally. But that one feels more directly under her purview, where she knew probably that this designer she was working with was getting screwed out of $700,000.
Wow. All right. Well,
I have to read it, but the lawsuit includes her stylist, Mickey, that guy that's always with her.
Oh, yeah. What, he's in it?
He's like part of it because he was probably the one making the orders for her costumes.
Oh, okay.
And they spent like $1 million with this designer, Marco, which I know who that is. Like, he does Britney Spears and like all of these, pop
Yeah.
artists. And then they called it fraud on Amex and got a massive refund. And so he just got fucked.
Have you ever done that?
I mean, I do it when it's justified.
Me too. Like if someone says, I know your order was horrible, but I'm, going to make you pay for it or whatever, you can just call fraud. And sometimes
Amex is the best for that, honestly.
they'll do the customer service shit for you.
Yeah.
If we found out that Erica had, I don't know, like not paid a designer, are we like, I don't know, are the hounds going to come for her again? It's not.
I mean, yeah, I think it'll be hard to get the momentum to swing back, but I think it's harmful to her image in like the gay community, because I think the gays and like the drag community know that designer. So if he's literally seeking $18 million.
18 million?
Yeah, because he almost went to jail for it.
Why?
Because he was like accused of like defrauding almost $1 million from a credit card.
Okay. All right. I kind of like that kind of crime. Like it's kind of like
just
Robin
dollars
Hood.
and cents.
Robin Hood.
But it's in the wrong order.
She's stealing from the poor,
The little guy.
and giving to the rich.
Yeah. Tom Girardi, he did his services. The designer provided $1 million of costumes, and they
For what? Like an
like her
Erica Jane
tour and
event?
shit.
Okay.
Like, and over years, and then they couldn't afford it, so Tom Girardi paid a private security to like strong arm to have Amex refund 700,000 of the 900,000, saying that those services were not provided, and got like a massive refund.
Okay.
And meanwhile, obviously on the other end, the guy gets in trouble if he's being accused of that level of fraudulent charges.
So what was the 18 million?
That's what he's suing for like damages.
Could you imagine though when you get that Amex bill back and you get that plus 700,000 on the account? Woo!
Yeah, Tom Girardi was stoked because he's like, I'm fucked. I don't have any money left.
People think Tom Girardi is faking dementia.
Did you see his jacket when he was walking into
Yeah.
court? It's like 10 sizes too big.
I mean, I'm sorry for people who still want to hate Erica Jane, but Tom Girardi is unfortunately suffering from Alzheimer's. I'll officially declare it. I'm sorry.
You believe it?
You don't? You thought
I'm
that was
just-
an act?
I'm just saying, like, it's a classic Harvey move. The Golden State Killer. They all pull this shit.
He's 85.
Durst.
He's 85. Tom Girardi.
Yeah,
And
but did you watch that Golden State Killer documentary? The
he
guy
claimed he had Alzheimer's.
he was like bumbling into the court with like a wheelchair, and he looked like he was like mouth breathing and like so sick. And then you pull the footage of him in his cell, and he's doing fucking pull-ups and shit.
Willy Wonka.
Yes.
He did a Willy Wonka in
He
the
was like
courtroom?
doing like push-ups and like rearranging his room and like voguing.
So you're saying
I'm
Tom
just saying
Girardi potentially is
it's a
doing jumping
classic
jacks?
tactic.
So Tom Girardi is potentially doing backflips and pull-ups on a pull-up bar, and he's secretly buff as hell.
He's
waiting.
doing Darren's dance grooves.
No, I'm officially stating, and I don't care who it offends, Tom Girardi is suffering from Alzheimer's.
I mean, I do believe that
and
there was maybe a long-standing issue that I think he knew what he was doing, but I think maybe his decline led to further bad decisions because he didn't know what the fuck was going on, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Tom crashes car.
Tom
It
crashed
was-
his car. It was in Pasadena. It was snowing. My son had to come, and then he flipped his car down the ravine, and it was like, yeah, that was a wild
The
story.
original, I can't believe.
I can't believe. But Jen Shah, I would have to say, I think she perpetuated the worst crime in Bravo history.
It's really bad.
Worse
I mean,
than,
she's fired forever, right?
I think in 5 years, if Salt Lake City is still going on and she pays her debt to society, I don't think Bravo's saying no to Jen Shah
Right.
coming back.
I just think Andy like hates her now because she lied to him.
She lied to everyone.
Yeah.
And she also, the worst thing Jen Shah did, would, in addition to defrauding vulnerable elderly people, is that she tried to put the blame on that Stuart Smith assistant that she had been feeding a banana to just days before. She loved this guy. This guy was like her loyal assistant. And the minute these charges came down, she goes, I don't know what the hell that guy was doing. Has anybody heard from him? I think he might have been doing some weird stuff that I had nothing to do with. I was like, damn, that was your loyal assistant. She tried to throw him
Yeah.
under the goddamn bus.
Yeah. And then
Jen-
she took all her mom's money. Retirement.
Awful. So Jennifer Shaw, you have to put her prison number 37357-509, Bryan Federal Prison Camp, P.O. Box 2149, Bryan, Texas 77804. As much as she appreciates fan packages, please do not send them to the prison camp. Only written letters are permitted.
Should we send her one of the cards from Hello Harlot that we got? Maybe
Yes.
the poo-poo head one?
Yes. Yeah, that's probably the best one. Or was there an I'm sorry one?
Let's see. There's Eat a Dick. That's maybe a little aggressive.
Just no matter what she did.
Can you
I'm not-
believe 25,000?
that one's good.
You
just
stole
'cause-
my goddamn heart.
That's nice. And it also has theft in it. So
Yeah.
she could read it as
You stole.
and also it's like we were such Jen Shaw fans and she betrayed us as fans. I like You Stole My Heart.
Okay. That's a good one. Yeah.
Any others?
And then what was the other James Kennedy? There's Poo Poo Head, and then there's one other.
It's not about the
Maybe not about the pasta.
Yeah. Dearest Jen, my name is Riley Hamilton, and I co-host a podcast with my friend Amy. I unfortunately just found out what you did while watching
Season
Salt Lake
2.
City. Amy
You're
had
like, I was behind.
Amy had already seen it! Exclamation point. What happened here? Question mark. Can you please tell me in your own words what you did wrong? Love, Riley and Amy.
Can we say, it turns out you were guilty of more than just being shamazing.
That's good. Lead with it's like a compliment sandwich. Dearest Jen Shaw,
Our regards to Coach Shaw.
That's the final line. So it's two nice things. Okay, well, whatever. We'll workshop this, but that's a really good letter. And I want to know from her mouth, because she pleaded guilty. I found that out.
Yeah.
She knows what she did. So anyway, that's a letter. But we'll talk
I wonder
about
if
that
she had to face the same judge. I haven't looked into this as Trump.
Who? Wait, which one?
In
in
New York, 'cause
Letitia
it's federal. Wasn't that New York, or was that the Atlanta?
Do you think she presided over that case?
I would
too?
love to see that.
That's
a
wild.
documentary.
There is one too. There is a Hulu Hustler and the Housewife type one. There's a
Okay.
Jen Shaw one.
All right, we should watch it.
We definitely should.
Okay. Well, we keep getting sidetracked. There's so much going on, but we basically would rather talk about anything but RHONY.
It's honestly like, yeah.
We're like, did you hear?
Jen Shaw went to prison. It's like, yes.
And I'm like, okay, this week on RHONY, and I'm like, Jax was at.
This episode of RHONY, please, like I said, tell me if you found joy. Tell me the 3 reasons why. Okay, it starts out and it's Jenna Lyons doing a casting session for her eyelashes. It lasts for 10 minutes too long.
Yeah.
It lasts way too long. And it is her trying to find a good crop of models to advertise her eyelashes. Right?
Should I buy some?
Yeah.
She said they have them at Target.
Well, yeah, she got me, obviously I'm going to buy those eyelashes, but I just thought we spent too long. I know Jenna Lyons is charming.
Yeah.
Like, whatever, awkward, charming, whatever.
Yeah.
But I was just like, okay, all right.
Yeah, it was boring that it was the eyelashes. If it was a fashion shoot, it would have been more fun. There would have been more to look at, but there wasn't really anything to look at. She did reveal that her real name is Judith, and that her brother called her Genitalia.
Okay, 2 questions about that. Do you think she sort of overshared with that person at the casting session that was like
it was
kind
slightly
of nervous?
Unnecessary?
And then second question, why did her brother call her that?
Right, because her name was Judith. So where did the Jenna for the genitalia come from?
It's almost something I don't want to speculate too much on. Also, I hope that all of those people that went to that audition were paid, because she made them all put on the eyelashes and take photos, and presumably only 5 of them or 10 of them will get the job, but looks like she was auditioning 50 people.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty involved audition. So I hope they all got paid.
Yeah, and it didn't seem like Sai was very helpful.
Sai wasn't at all. She interrupts when Jenna was talking to someone, being like, "Hey, I'm here," and then she really doesn't do anything except learn that genitalia nickname story.
Yeah, which wasn't that great of of tea. But
No.
And then it goes to Aaron and Abe recapping their anniversary party, and Aaron decides to make this a whole plot line.
Yes, and this is my biggest gripe with this episode. Erin has now flopped completely in my estimation. She's no longer endearing to watch. She knows that the context in which Brynn was flirting with Abe, that is the only thing we know now about Brynn, is that she likes to flirt with anything.
Yeah.
A piece of food in front of her.
I mean, this episode literally started with her working out and making sex sounds doing kettlebell swings.
Did you think that do you think that was the right thing to do with a bunch of people around, is to pretend like you're having sex?
She should get banned from the gym.
I mean, I just like
if a man did that.
I'm gonna refrain from doing the noise. But yeah, I just was like, God damn, anything could be sexual humor.
Yeah.
It was not enough the piggies in the blanket. I like wieners in my mouth.
Now it's like we have enough options. We don't need any more like sound pulls of you saying horny stuff.
Yeah,
we get it.
It's like it's nice, sporadic. Keep it a surprise. I want that flirting humor to come out. And then I'm such a hypocrite, because I would like Sonia to do this all the time, but I think even Sonia keeps it in check. She knows when to not be so flirty, and I don't know. It's just different with Brynn, and that was rough. And then Aaron, like you said, Aaron, they're talking about the party. They go, it was so great, one of the best parties that New York has ever thrown. And then Aaron goes, except for my group of friends who I'm really mad at because they were talking. And Abe goes, that was who was talking? And then they show the scene, and every single person was talking.
Yeah.
They're the only people getting shit for this. Every person was talking. And then Abe, I think kind of innocently, but also knows he wants to be a little stinker, says that Brynn, devoid of any context, told him that he should get divorced and marry her and all this shit.
Yeah.
And Aaron, you can watch the wheels turn in her head. She's like, oh, I'm going to make a fucking meal out of this.
That's disgusting. She's like, our kids were right there.
It's horrendous. It's awful. The worst thing, I'm sick to my stomach. She goes,
it makes me sick.
It makes me sick. She's like, I am running with this thing. And it's just, nothing has ever been more inauthentic. Nothing has ever been mining for conflict than this one scene. If you wanted to show Andy and say, Andy, I have the case for why RHONY is bad, you would just say this right here. Brynn, we want her to stop flirting so much in every scene, but you know that about her. You know, any time she would do that, it's just that's like breathing to her.
Yeah.
So
I know. If anything, I would have. It comes up again later, but the sunglasses would have annoyed me more.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, that is where you're like, who do you think you are? Like,
Yeah,
get out of here.
And she tried to wrap it all up in a justification for getting mad at all of them. She was almost pulling for all of the things, Cy leaving, whatever, like to be mad at. But then Bryn, she was like, oh, I can have the most justifiable fury about this, so that's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah.
Even though she was more mad at Cy when Cy
Also,
left.
do you think that? So, how many people were at that party? Like many hundreds.
Yeah. I am
Do you
so bad
think
at guessing
they
numbers. but-
all said goodbye?
No, I asked that too. I said the same thing. It's no one can.
You kind of don't want to do that because you
Bye.
don't want them to start thinking things are like winding down. You kind of just want to sneak out.
Hey, just wanted to say bye, Aaron. Bye, Aaron. Bye. Like no, that's not how a party works. So 75% leave without you knowing that they left.
Yeah, if it was like super intimate, of course you would say
No.
that you were leaving.
No.
But at something of that scale,
No.
you don't announce that you're leaving.
No. So Aaron then is like she has just the thought bubble above her head the entire episode. I can't wait to dish out this fury at.
And it really, I mean, not to get ahead, but it really fizzles.
I mean, really,
It's a flop.
Really, these are the only two scenes to talk about. I mean, if we like
Um,
the whole episode is centered around this wreath event.
Yes.
There's little bits. I did want to talk about, unless you have something in the meantime, I did want to talk about Bryn's sort of odd. I'll say,
I was kind of into this. You mean the car setting? Gideon?
huh?
Gideon?
Yeah. Okay. What's going on here?
He's browsing $500,000 cars with a salesman who looks exactly like Ian McKellen.
Yeah, Ian McKellen, and then he sort of has a Hugh Grantish quality.
Totally.
So it was sort of like, I felt like we got into like a scene from a rom-com all of a sudden.
Yeah.
The setting, the old man who's providing classic cars. They sit in a car while they're talking, and then you hear about
She
this.
arrives in a very, not meet cute, but like she comes in and she's like, don't talk to him. I'm the one that knows all about cars. And he goes, oh, she's trouble. And the old British man is like, she looks it.
She looks at darling. Now I'll leave
Do you think
to-
they know Ken and Lisa?
Who?
Both of them.
Gideon
Those
and the classic
Brits.
car man? For sure they do. They're part of the Bravo British Society.
There used to be a car place like that really close to Pump and Sir.
Oh, I
like-
kind of remember that.
It's not there anymore, but I loved looking at those beautiful cars.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I derive no enjoyment from cars.
I don't in general, but like beautiful old cars are much more interesting to me than
Oh, me
like
too.
modern cars.
Me too. Like they're all like metal, like and-
they're like nicely designed and like heavy and like
yeah. I do like when you watch an old movie, like a 70s movie, and they're like driving big, huge,
Giant
boxy
boats.
convertibles. Yeah, but this scene kind of Bryn to me. She's very mysterious, and I like this chess championship, and we don't know where she lives. We don't know what she
Right.
does. And then she's got this guy named Gideon. She's apparently
they met on Tinder.
She almost has a rom-com like written backstory, and it's just like a movie where you don't know anything about them except this one thing.
Right.
And
It is interesting. I feel like it's very old school. She says she's been proposed to or engaged many
I
times.
almost don't believe it. She says
Yeah.
3 times.
3 times.
And
Well, this guy said, he still has the ring. He seems very much like he would, at least the way they showed it, marry her still at any
I
time.
think this guy was an actor.
Paid actor.
They had some odd.
They did have some photos. Do you think those were photo shoot?
They had one where it
They were
looked like she
eating
was,
watermelon.
and then there was one where she had chips on her head, and he said,
Girl,
"Look
you
at Bryn,
crazy."
she's so crazy. I'm dating one of the craziest girls in the world." He said. No, I just thought something about this scene felt off to me, like it was like so staged. And I know that Bryn needs peripheral people to justify who she is that are not the cast. So it looks like she pulled deep from the bench or the well and tried to justify why she was filming with Gideon.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just felt weird to me. And yeah, I don't know. It felt off. And we don't really know anything about Bryn.
Right.
Still. What does she do?
I know we're like halfway in.
What does she do?
I don't know.
I mean, I
Have
know
they
she's a
said?
chess champion, and she's been proposed to 3 times.
Yeah.
But they say that, like, I read something that says that we don't know where she lives because her apartment wouldn't let her film there. But I feel like that wouldn't really stop Bravo. They would still show her, like, coming out of her
They
place.
let Architectural Digest go in there.
Right. So, I don't, or she could film scenes, like, in her apartment. Like, that's fully her.
Right.
So, something about, I don't know. There's something fishy there.
TBD.
Yeah. So, you liked this scene, though.
I mean, I thought it was a little bit. It was kind of fun and funky. Like, I was like, huh?
Definitely funky, and definitely my radar went off. What did you think when she said that Gideon, she was on a date or she was dating someone else, and then she went somewhere, like somewhere in New York, and then all of a sudden she heard a beautiful rendition of If I Could Walk 500 Miles? I wanted to ask you, what would a beautiful rendition of If I Could Walk 500
I'm just hearing Sandoval sing it.
Yeah, me too. If I could walk. I just couldn't think of a beautiful rendition of that song. It's so characteristic
It's like,
of
bam, bam, bam,
it
bam,
has
bam,
very
bam,
propulsive
bam, bam.
energy, and so I was trying to think of a string version of that. I mean, maybe we should pull one up because it would
like,
be
500
And
miles.
she was like, "Wait, something's going on. That's Gideon's favorite song." And oh my God, there's Gideon, and he has watermelon in his mouth to recreate their iconic photo.
I mean, that ring was crazy that she showed.
Yeah, it all felt to me like a thrown away scene from a rom-com.
Yeah.
And Bren already gives me some inauthentic artificial vibes, and I was like, this did not help her case, in my opinion.
All right, more to come,
Yeah.
hopefully. Jessel and her mom go to lunch. I thought this was actually pretty good.
Yeah, Jessel is bringing it. Jessel is probably the most engaging, I think. Jenna is naturally entertaining because Jenna has an interesting life that you want to see more of, the
Yeah.
glimpses you get. But Jessel's kind of bringing it in terms of what she's providing.
Yeah,
For
she
the show.
definitely has the most going on, or is being like the most open book, I guess.
Yeah, and this was sad because she didn't really justify why she kept her mom in the dark throughout the IVF process, and I was very surprised that she didn't let her mom enter because
Right.
it seems like her mom's very supportive and sweet to her, and they have a strong bond.
I thought it was interesting that her mom agreed. She goes, "What would have happened if I would have
Yeah.
made it public
Yeah.
that we were doing IVF?" And the moms immediately said it would have been gossip, like everyone. And I'm like, what is this toxic community that everyone would just be like, "Oh my God, did you hear?"
That she needed IVF to have
Yeah.
children or whatever. But I did think it was touching how sad the mom was to learn that she wasn't a part of that.
Yeah.
I feel, though, that there was a way that Jessel could have told her mom, who she knows, who loves her and would have been there for her, and it not get out.
Yeah.
I didn't really think that Jessel keeping her mom in the dark was justifiable, especially seeing how sad the mom's reaction was.
Yeah.
But that's not a complaint against Jessel. That's something interesting to watch.
Yeah.
Like, I'd like to know more of why Jessel...
Yeah, she's like, I would have been on the next flight.
Yeah. Also, I love that the mom ordered a spicy margarita.
I know.
I was like, hell yeah.
I know. And she was like, "It's barely noon." I was like, who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
She made a offhand comment that the grandpa, her dad, had dropped her baby like on his head multiple times.
Yeah. And then they both said he's a shithead.
He was like, "What's happening?"
Yeah, I liked that. I think that was probably the most interesting scene of this whole it's not fake drama that they're trying to provide.
Her mom kind of shaded her because she was like, "I want baby number 3," and she was like, "You can't even manage the 2."
Right.
And I was like, ouch.
Yeah, damn. And Jessica didn't really, she wasn't that bent out of shape over that. It just sounds like that's
it
their
is
camaraderie.
interesting that the way she's framing wanting a third child is that she says that she wants a third child, or that she is ready for the next chapter. And I'm like, well, you are married, so
Yeah. In Pavitz, clearly, he says, my favorite number is number 2. He goes, I like having just 2 kids. But I think it's sincere that Jessel wants a third, and she always did. And I kind of like seeing Pavitz's real reaction to that, the mom's reaction. It's like she's giving us something.
Yeah. Even though we'll see if baby number 3 is raised in Dallas, Texas, or New York City.
Right, because I don't think we talked about it, but it looks like she could have been potentially on the back burner for another franchise.
Yeah.
She was always a considered cast member.
Before Dallas got canceled, I think.
Yeah. And so then when New York came, they're like, we've got this amazing person, which it's still debatable whether Jessel is like worth bringing on to RHONY. I do like her, and she's by far, or not by far, but she's one of the most engaging people. But they might have potentially just said, hey, if you move to New York, you can be on RHONY.
Right. Which seems, that's a lot of work.
What?
To move to New York to be on a Housewives franchise, but I guess if that's what you want, it's worth it.
That's what Pringle did.
Why does that name make me laugh so much?
Because it's really funny. And he
John
kind of just
Pringle.
John Pringle. I think someone told him, hey, if you move from San Diego and you have an organic friendship with Shep and Craig or whatever. I don't know if he had a friendship with Craig or whatever, but it's like, you can be on the show.
His phone rang and it was like, Papadoo.
And it's Patricia.
Hello. They were like, do you have money? Are you in magazines?
Yes. No, it's like Mission Impossible. Do you have...
If you choose to accept this mission, any honeybee.
Do you have money? The answer is yes. Are you in magazines? Yes. What's the next slide?
Do you have more honey than any honeybee?
Yes. Okay, I think that's exactly... I think you're right. Do you think it would be Patricia on the other line or a producer from Southern Charm?
I think,
or Whitney. He's a producer and he's on the show.
Yeah, maybe Whitney and Patricia are sitting on speaker drinking martinis.
Pringle, are you sitting down? And he's like, yes. Right?
Are you, this mission what is it? Should you choose to accept it?
This mission, if you choose to accept it, will, first you tell us, do you accept it? And then this message will go poof into dust once it's over. Self-destruct. Yeah. Should you choose to accept this mission, say yes now, and then within 10 seconds, this message will self-destruct. So you think that's the Bopadoo call?
Yeah. The Bopadoo phone call. There's a green rotary phone that rings. It just appears in your house.
Oh, so it's like, sorry, but it's like a delivery person comes to the door, you open a package, it's a green rotary phone, it says plug me in. You have to plug in to wherever you have
classic phone jack.
You have to plug it into a phone jack. Pringle's going, where the hell's the phone jack in my goddamn apartment? And then it immediately starts ringing. You hear that beautiful, what?
Bapadoo.
Yes. And then they said, would you choose to be a cast member on Southern Charm? Please accept this mission. And then this phone will self-destruct in 15 seconds.
Yes.
All right. So then after the that kind of poignant scene between Jessel and her mother, we get to a horrible event. One of the worst justifications for an event. Well, I mean, Orange County also had a horrible event this week, but this was just like someone.
Who would even want to do this?
Producer was like, it's coming up to be Christmas. What do people do at Christmas? I don't know, make a wreath? And
it wasn't like Brynn-like at all.
No.
It was her event, but it was so like stuffy and boring.
And it didn't seem like she had any control over anything. It was like they just went to a store that does this, and Brynn said, well, you guys have food. I don't know what they want to eat. Just make food.
It was really weird.
It was
I was
awful.
like, where are you? What is happening?
And then
it would have been fun if it were at her apartment, maybe.
Right. Anything would have been better than this. I would have rather seen them go to a coffee shop and have this conversation. Anything would have been better than this weak justification to get them all together.
Yeah.
They all come in one by one. Sai instantly, I'm shocked by this. Sai instantly says, what's the food situation?
Is there oatmeal?
Hey, you know when you go to a wreath making place and there's oatmeal around? That's definitely got to be the situation here, right? Like, what the hell are you talking about?
She's like, what the hell is this brown avocado? Then she goes, not a lot of healthy options, I see.
They show the avocado multiple times. It is not like browning. It is perfectly green.
It looks kind of gross.
Well, whatever, because there was fried food on it or whatever. But there was a lot of diverse options here.
Yeah, but it looked like an afterthought, or it was like no one was eating it, so it was just sitting there. And like it became more gross as time went on, but it was weird that she immediately thought it was disgusting, and that she expected oatmeal. I've never been anywhere in my life where there was oatmeal.
No one has, and no one ever will in the future. That's never happened before. No one has ever gone into a place except an oatmeal store.
Like, does the Wynn buffet even have oatmeal?
No.
Like, who would want that?
She's the first person ever in the world to walk into a place that was not a grocery store and say, can I have oatmeal?
What if she had Brynn had prepared and she had little Quaker oat packets and was like, haha, I do have oatmeal, bitch.
Yeah, no, so I tried to catch her off her guard and order the one thing that no one would ever have, and then Bryn was like, "I finally have the thing that you actually want."
She's like, "Do you want berries on that?"
Is there is there any world where Sai could come to an event
Fed.
having had shown up, being full?
Yeah, is it like she literally cannot feed herself, so she needs there to be food wherever she goes so that she can eat for the first time that day?
She's on the Hobbit eating schedule. I know you're not familiar, but they have breakfast, second breakfast, mid-dinner.
Did you go to Denny's for the Hobbit menu?
When did that happen?
Whenever the Hobbit came out, they had Radagast red velvet pancake puppies.
Radagast, which is the beautiful nature wizard. Did you get those pancakes?
No, I think they also had something that was just like Hobbit breakfast, and it was just like a grand slam.
Probably second breakfast. Hobbit second breakfast. Anyway, I love that, and I did not know Denny's had themed Hobbit breakfast. I want to see photos of
we'll
that
Google it
immediately. But one thing I do think that could help Sai, I know it's too late this season, but Sai, if you're going to go to an event, eat something you like before, no matter when in the day it is.
Yeah.
If it's
some oatmeal that'll stick to the ribs.
Let's say if it's, yeah, let it stick to your ribs. Let's say it's an event at 11 a.m. Eat around 9 a.m. or 10 a.m., right?
I think that if she did that, she would still show up at 11 and be like, I'm starving.
I know she'd be hungry
She
still.
has like a blood sugar issue.
Well, Erin said she's got a gigantic worm in her stomach that's eating all of her food instead of her stomach getting it.
She was like, you need to get that checked out.
That was kind of funny.
Yeah.
If Sai happens to get hungry 1 hour after eating at an event, there are bars or certain things you could bring handheld that you can go into a bathroom and just eat them.
Yeah.
I just think that at this point she thinks it's fun and endearing to be hungry as hell.
I guess.
It's
That's
just
like a skinny privilege because as someone with some meat on my bones, I'd be like ashamed to always be like, where's the food? Like I would eat before because I'd be like,
come having had.
Yeah. Like that's what I do when I go out to somewhere. I think the Scandival night, I was like, I don't know if we're going to eat at Tom Tom or just get drinks. So I got Del Taco on the way.
Right.
So that I didn't have to worry about it.
I am not food oriented. When I go to any event, I don't expect anyone to have food for me, but I know certain people that if they show up around 7 p.m. to an event, they're like, what's the dinner situation?
Yeah.
But I always will prepare my stomach, stick stuff to my ribs beforehand. So I think that this Sai thing, like Bryn's flirting, it has to end.
It's too much.
It's over.
The oatmeal really threw me over the edge. I was like, that is actually... honestly, borderline respect because that's the most insane thing you could expect.
But like, it was rough.
So was that also to imply that it was breakfast time, so that wreath making was in the morning?
That event, they didn't want to even show us the time.
But they were drinking. I don't know.
I don't know what the hell. And then Jenna arrives, and Jenna came bearing gifts.
It was giving Bethany's Scary Island skinny girl bags.
Okay, so you agree with the assumption that the cast members made?
It's kind of weird. It's too much.
I thought it was sweet.
I mean, I'll take it. Like, give me the free shit, but it's kind of weird to like roll up with that many boxes.
But I thought it was like, this is our cast Christmas at this wreath event. I'm not going to see you before the 25th. So
sure. But don't you think it's weird that they're all partnerships?
Well, no. One was a necklace, and one was like what?
Yeah, and it was
baby wipes.
Jenna Lyons ex Majuri.
Yeah, if
Majuri makes my Fitbit band.
Really? Let me see that. I like Majuri.
You do?
Ordered stuff from there. Yeah,
for yourself?
Megan. No, for Megan. I think my wedding ring is Majuri.
Huh. I mean, it's like gold. Yeah.
But okay, so I saw this in a sympathetic light, but I guess. I just thought it was mean. I thought it was mean that Bryn decides like, oh, all these sponsored gifts, and then they're all like, she wants me to post about this. Like, you think Jenna Lyons needs you, Bryn, to post on Instagram before this season even comes out that you got a bunch of gifts from her?
Yeah.
What was their Instagram counts before RHONY came out?
I didn't really get what she was saying. She says, I don't think Jenna has an expectation that will post, but I do think she has an assumption. I was like, what does that mean?
This is just, it is more in line with the fact that they think complaining is entertaining.
Yeah.
Someone told them, or they heard from somewhere, or they distilled franchises down and they took away that all of Housewives is about complaining.
Yeah.
Which is that's not what I believe.
Yeah.
And I don't ever remember a time where I noticed
It's like a
complaining.
shallow understanding.
Yeah. It's
of
like,
the series.
right? Is it? It's like,
I think so. Because I think people that like aren't super mega into Housewives take that as a confirmation that it's following the same patterns. But it's like, that can't be the only thing.
yeah. And also like, I guess like Ramona and Luann, they do complain. I
Yeah.
think we've talked about this before, but it's like, it's so justifiable and they do it more and they have more to offer apart from just complaining that you're like, I like seeing when they complain about something because you know they're going to get mad about that.
Yeah.
And this is just like, they complain about everything, even gifts
Yeah.
warrant complaint.
I know. Yeah. I don't know. I guess I still don't quite understand Jenna.
Me neither.
So that's why I'm like, I didn't think it was like bad or like tacky. I was like, what's her angle? Like, not that she was being manipulative or something, but I'm just like, she doesn't really say anything.
I think Jenna does not know in and out what this the franchises are like. I think she passively watched them, and I like that she doesn't know what show she's in. So when she shows up to a bunch of gifts, she doesn't get that that's kind of odd for the franchise. She's sort of like, remember when Kim Fields came on
God,
Atlanta?
That was awful.
She was awful, and she didn't fit in. And it's the only time Andy has ever asked a question at the reunion where he goes, does anybody think that Kim Fields might have not fit in on this season? And every single person raised their hand.
She's like, if we're going to do our worst Housewives list, she's on it.
She's the worst, but the only reason I'm comparing is because she also wasn't familiar and didn't know what the show was. So she's so adrift.
Kim Fields, remember, she would just like get upset and cry every time there was drama because she was like, this is toxic. And I'm like, welcome, bitch. Like, what are you talking about?
Right. But the fish out of water, not knowing, I give Jenna credit that she's just not as rehearsed in the tropes.
I just wish that there was a little more juice there.
Me
like,
too.
I am someone that was preloaded to be very interested in her. And I'm kind of like running out of interest.
Me too. And I'm a little worried that when we start to get more of Jenna, I'm honestly a little
There's
afraid.
not going to be there.
Or that there's going to be stuff that we don't like there. I
Like
mean,
what?
I've heard that she's a horrible human being to her staff.
Okay.
Like a Devil's Wears Prada.
I could see it.
Awful person. And if that's the case, she's doing
Bethany, time to uncover that.
If Bethany,
that she could be part of the reckoning.
What, Jenna Lyons?
Jenna Lyons.
What, like proclaiming Jenna Lyons as a
Toxic
secret,
figure.
toxic, horrible boss? I don't know. But if Jenna is that, then she's doing a very good job hiding it. 'Cause so far, I haven't seen any horrible, mean.
Yeah, she's made herself seem very sweet.
Yeah, and kind of like fish out of water. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing here. So anyway, but I just thought it was just indicative of the new RHONY that they found that to complain about.
Even there was a moment at the casting or whatever where Sai brings up Jenna's breakup and she completely shuts down because she's about to cry.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we can't even talk about this.
I know.
Like, there was nothing.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah, and then Jenna. Oh, and then Sai, I thought it was kind of weird. Sai tells everyone the genitalia story while Jenna is just sitting right there. And it's like a long story.
She seemed offended.
Yeah. It's kind of a long story, like a 30-second.
It was boring.
It was boring to hear Sai just repeat what we had just heard 30 minutes later in full detail and then have Jenna just sit there and have this person speak for her.
And she was clearly like, thanks for telling them that, even though it's not that revealing of a secret.
Right. It's not.
But then she revealed not only is her first name Judith, her middle name is Agar.
Judith Agar Lyons?
Yes.
And then she dropped the Agar when she got married.
Yeah.
And
I forget
became
what
Jenna
her...
Lyons, whatever the guy's last name was. Then got cut off. And then now she lost the Agar. And
so now she's just Jenna Lyons. But they were saying for monograms, she should be JFL, like Jenna fucking Lyons.
I thought on a scale of entertaining factoids about Jenna, that was a 1 out of 10.
Yeah. Who cares?
Then Aaron comes in. And
Pissed from the start.
Aaron has the hardest time keeping what she wants to do in her head, because it's hard to act your ass off and pretend like you're mad about something that you're not. So Erin comes in and she's like, I'm going to act like I'm mad at everyone and that I am in such a bad mood. And they can all read it. They're like, oh man, she's coming in hot, like as, grouchy or whatever. And then she figures out within 1 second when she sits down at the table how to string in her beef. It was very inorganic, her segue. I don't know
She's like talking about going to the Dominican Republic with her whole family, and then I think she's talking about her cousins or something like that.
Oh.
And she goes, Sai, if you would have stuck around, you could have, heard my cousins' speeches and met all of them. And Sai's like, I couldn't hear a damn thing at that goddamn party.
I thought that was great of Sai. I like that she said that. And I also like that she said, I don't care that I left early.
Yeah, she was like, I don't care. I was hungry. There was no food. And she was like, there was tons of food. She was like, I don't eat pigs in a blanket. Okay, so I don't really care. And Erin was like, you have bad manners.
Yes.
You have terrible manners. And then... she was like, I literally don't care, which was kind of fun.
And one thing is that I like that Erin thought that it was a good idea to bring up that there were more speeches.
I know.
Like,
I know.
You're trying to convince Sai that she should have stayed, and you said there's more than the 5 speakers that happened.
Yeah, I'd be like, thank fucking God I left.
Yeah, for sure. And then Erin also says right before she storms up to the party, she's like, I'm going to ruin this wreath-making party like Bryn ruined my party. It's like,
It was not ruined.
You said you loved your party and that you had so much fun.
To call it ruined is ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
She goes, because she says a disingenuous I'm sorry or thank you to Sai. And then Bryn goes, oh, she gets a thank you. And she's like, don't even get me started on your ass. She's like, what you did was horrendous.
And yeah.
And then Bryn is like, well, you should tell Abe to stop laughing at my jokes then, because he was loving it.
Yeah. And then Erin says, well, it's so inappropriate. I was disgusted. You never talk about divorce. And then Jessel says she never said the word divorce. And then they show all the time she did say it. But yeah, roll the clip. And Bryn goes, even if I did say divorce, I was just being funny.
I was
just
doing
being
a bit.
And everyone knows it. And even Jenna. Jenna is like the voice of reason whenever they show her confessional. And she's like, I think Erin overreacted. She always says like.
And Sai is like, no offense, but like, she doesn't want your husband.
Yeah. Yeah.
And everyone's basically like, there are plenty of people that probably would try and steal your husband. That's not what's happening here. Like, it's just like clearly not what happened.
Yeah.
Like,
no, it's just, and Erin knows this. I mean,
totally.
you could make the rationale if someone loved this episode and thought, oh, it's so justifiable that Erin did this. But we know in our hearts that Erin is clawing for entertainment. And this is what she thought would do it. Then Bryn, which I thought was kind of, silly. She says right to her face, your party was boring.
Yeah.
Which is very...
She's like, I'm sorry, the party was fucking boring.
Which is very mean.
Totally.
But I think if Erin's going to be all, up in arms about what you did, why not just throw it back at her?
I could use more of that from Bryn. Like,
Me too.
She feels like she has that thing of like, she had a hard upbringing, so she has to be tough. And like, if anyone attacks her, she probably goes for the jugular, which hasn't really happened yet. But I feel like she has it in her to be more of a, like, I don't know, like triggered, hurt person when she's under attack. Yeah. And I think there could be more fun to be had there.
Yeah.
For the viewer.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Sai saying I don't care and Bryn saying your party was boring was the best part of this episode. And then they just fully drop what she's trying to spin up.
And then Erin's like, you guys all suck. Bye.
And then she leaves, and then you can tell she doesn't want to leave because she makes
milling around outside.
Yes, she makes a big deal of it. She calls her sister outside. She knows, like,
her sister wants an apple so bad.
Oh my God.
She was like, oh my God, Bryn is such a bitch. Like, and she's like, right?
Yes. Just tries to reinforce Erin's behavior. Erin is, lingering around, like she didn't really want to leave, waiting for someone to hold her back, and they just Sai goes, let her leave. She woke up grouchy this morning, let her leave. Which is funny to call it grouchy because it was just a put on that Erin had.
Yeah,
she came up wanting to do that. She didn't show up in a bad mood. She
Grinch ass.
Yes. And then anything else before the Uba FaceTime? I just wanted to
no
Uba. Then they go, we miss Uba, which I'm like, yeah, where the fuck has Uba been?
She's had COVID for like a year.
And there's been so many lapses. Bryn was gone the first 2 episodes. Now Uba's gone. Like, there's a lot of.
Also, when they showed Uba still sick in her apartment, there was a cameraman in her apartment, and I was like, did they like throw a cameraman into like a COVID quarantine?
Right, because they show a little glimpse of Uba. She drops something on the ground and eats it or whatever.
And it was
so
like a real camera. Like it was.
So why did they show Uba? I don't know. But then they go Uba. I was like, okay, maybe Uba will do something fun. And Uba goes, "What's the food situation there?" Like, of all things. And then they're basically just like, "Shut up! There's a lot of food." And they go, and then Bryn goes.
In her confessional, she goes, "I saw the food and I was glad I wasn't there."
Oh my God. Who told them at some point in production to please stop talking about food? They should have told them after the cheese incident. They should have said,
God.
"Guys, I'm sorry. The food stuff is
so
not
boring.
working." And then they just set Uba down on the counter, and Uba goes, "Avocado, French fry, smoked salmon," and they just like cut to black. It was rough.
Hopefully the cast trip will save us.
I really can't imagine at this point them learning the ropes on the go, because they are in such a deficit of what makes something entertaining. The group chemistry is very bad.
Yeah.
And what they think they're giving, all of them have the idea of what they're giving, and it's just not giving it. You know, the flirty vibe, size, hunger level, Aaron making a mountain out of a molehill. All of them are trying so hard, and nothing is hitting.
What do you think the reunion's going to be like?
Andy going, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, everyone. I made a horrible call. I was on acid the morning that I thought this up."
From a Dead and Company show with John Mayer.
I had an acid flashback after a Dead and Company show, and I thought splitting up RHONY into 2 shows was really a good idea.
It's going to be great gowns, beautiful gowns.
What do you think? They're going to wear good gowns? Who said that?
Aretha Franklin. It's a great video. I'll send it to you. They ask her to rate or give one word on all these different pop stars. It'll be like Beyonce, and she'll be like beautiful voice. Oh. And then it'll be like, I don't know, like whoever else, like Pink, and it'll be like amazing acrobatics. On and on. And then it's like Taylor Swift, and she just goes, great gowns, beautiful gowns.
Did she really say that about Taylor?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just like nothing to say.
Wow, that's interesting.
So now whenever you have nothing to say and you're trying to be nice, you just say great gowns, beautiful gowns.
Wow. Great gowns, beautiful gowns. All right, I'll use that. Yeah, I think there will be definitely some great gowns at the RHONY reunion. Do you want to slip into, what did we say?
Slither right into Atlanta.
We're in the huge dump.
The worm from Sai's belly will slither down to Atlanta.
Yeah, do you want to grab the worm from Sai's belly and take it on over to Atlanta? Because
it does open with something very interesting to me. It starts with a date. Yes. It says March 3rd, 2023. And I screamed.
I screamed too.
March 3rd is the day that TMZ announced the beginning of Scandival.
Yes.
That was the moment we heard the news. I remember, as we've discussed, I was in Vegas, so I remember the date, and I was like, whoa, crazy that there was this much shit going on in the Bravo universe on March 3rd.
Yes. So multiple parallels with Scandival.
Do you think they knew that? Like,
I think,
or do you think we're the only freaks that know the day of Scandival?
Well, I don't think maybe the casual viewer wouldn't know that March 3rd is when Scandival erupted. But I was just going to say that the dates coincide directly. I think on March 1st, when we went to Tom Tom, that's when the Drew and Ralph divorce announcement happened. Yeah. And then they picked up cameras 2 days later, just like Scandival.
Yes.
I think it was basically just the exact same Scandival scenario, except I think for us, Scandival completely overshadowed everything going on with Drew and Ralph.
Totally. I wonder if we even talked about that. I mean, we didn't have a podcast yet.
No, we didn't. I mean, Drew, I still didn't care about Drew at all. I was so down on Drew over the last 2 seasons of Atlanta that I didn't even care.
You didn't care again until Already Know. came out.
Yes. And we got a little already know. That was a little highlight this episode. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. Production ended January 28th.
Yeah.
Which Vanderpump had ended way earlier than that or whatever. So cameras were down in this situation for like a month and then they picked back up. But still, kind of shocking. I didn't hear that there was going to be this post.
I know.
Like cameras up again
Totally.
in Atlanta.
I know. I couldn't tell because some of it that they show in the aftermath, it was fully cameras back up for certain things, but some of it was just like confessionals.
Yes.
Which I'm like, those probably would have been happening anyways.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was nervous this whole episode because I kind of knew what was coming, but like it started, one of the first scenes is Marlo accompanying Sonya to her ultrasound with Dr. Jackie.
Yes.
Who Dr. Jackie keeps saying over and over again to not tell her small child.
I know.
I'm not blaming her, but like to not involve him so early because it was crazy. She brought him to her 5-week appointment, which is like insanely
and Dr.
early.
Jackie was kind of shocked. She didn't like say it. But she was just like, it's way too early for him to be
She's
involved
like, you're a
in
geriatric pregnancy and you're only 5 weeks, which like she was barely even 5 weeks. Like that like is barely registering at that point. So it's bold to both have your small son there and tell him that and also have it on camera, although she was willing to have the aftermath or whatever happened be on camera, which is nice for
but then all of the like reveals she did too. Like
I know, that's so early. Like that's really crazy.
I don't think I realized how early this was. And then
that's basically like the second that you can pee on a stick and it'll even show up. Like,
and then Dr. Jackie, was right. With good foresight, she says, I don't think you should involve little Deucey in this. And Sonya fully doesn't listen to her.
It's too late.
It's too late. He loves it. He's a part of every aspect of this. He cries on my stomach, or is so happy on my stomach every night. And then I had seen the preview for next week, and it's like something horrible happens. And we find out. I mean, we can just talk about it now, but like Marlo accompanies her, and
I was like scared because I didn't know what. If it was the timeline, and I was like, are they about to do an ultrasound and tell her that there's nothing inside? I was like, I don't want to watch that. It's too sad.
So overall, this finale, if it hadn't had the Ralph and Drew revelation, which is that Ralph and Drew got divorced right after they stopped filming, like a month later. This finale, though, the first 35 minutes are the pieces of what would have been the finale. This would have been the worst finale in history.
Yeah.
I mean, in Atlanta history, for sure.
Boring ass party for the pass.
Yeah. I mean, something happened this season in terms of what storylines ended up being at the end because they were left with nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, the pass. Like a trailer reveal party for a movie that we just watched be filmed.
Yeah.
And nothing else. So then when cameras pick back up, all of the mostly everything is awful. Like we find out that Sonya had a very traumatic miscarriage.
Yeah.
She was allowed to go on a trip. Dr. Jackie said, you can go on a trip, but we need to do, what was it? A D&C. We have to, this is not growing, right?
Yeah.
Your pregnancy is not viable. We have to do a D&C. She let Sonya go to New York, and New York had a horrific miscarriage.
Yeah, away from her husband wasn't there, her doctor wasn't there. She had to deal with it alone. It was horrifying. I felt so bad for her.
Me too. And Sonya is such a positive, bright spirit in a way that is so authentic. Like I honestly don't feel like she has ill will for anyone.
Yeah.
Like her sister, I feel like treats her like shit, and she learned from the sound bath was like, I'm gonna be better to my sister. It's like your sister treats you like shit.
Yeah,
and
you're the cash cow of the family. Like they can go do their own thing if they want.
So then, you can just obviously the Deuce revelation.
Oh
she tells her mother, and I felt so bad for her because I felt really a part of this pregnancy. I mean, I can't think of. I don't know, there's been other pregnancies, but I guess I haven't had one in contemporary Bravo world where I just was attached to this happening and can't believe that it just...
I didn't even really think about it because she's now, what's the current day timeline? I know that is she still pregnant currently because she got pregnant again?
Her card they give her another card and they say they are pregnant again.
Okay.
But
So
we
she's
don't-
pregnant right now. I haven't
haven't-
looked on like Instagram. So I don't know if like, I guess the math would be if she got pregnant again after March, say maybe April
yes.
or something. So
Yeah, I got to check in.
Yeah.
Because
because I didn't even put that together. I guess I don't know. I didn't think about it because I've seen photos of her actively pregnant. So in my mind, I was just like, she got there, and I like forgot that this had happened first because the turnaround was so fast
Right.
of her getting pregnant again that I kind of just like didn't realize.
Right.
So I was kind of like shocked, and I was so sad.
Yeah, me too.
It was a really dark thing. She said she had to have a blood transfusion. I was just like, oh my God. Like, it was like back to back sad and
Yes.
harrowing updates jammed at the last like 10 minutes of this episode.
Yeah, we found out that Sheree tells Drew that her dad died
my
one
God.
day before her confessional.
She like
Her final-
wasn't going to say it. And it came up naturally because she was trying to support Drew. And then Drew was saying like, yeah, and also my dad's not doing very well. Like my mom's taking care of him. And then Sheree's like, I know how it is. My dad died like yesterday, ? Like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And Drew's like, what?
Yeah.
And she's like, I can't even talk about it.
Yeah.
And she like leaves. And I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, like yeah, it was awful. And then the episode is like trying to piece together whatever storylines they would have had, like the past, the Sonya update, Marlo. Oh my God, I love Marlo, but I have to talk shit because you and I are honest.
Yeah.
Marlo flopped hard this season in terms of her storyline. I'm sure someone told her that she should probably, for a good story, introduce Scott Lee to her nephews or something. And I don't think her and Scott Lee are a real relationship.
Her friend boy.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, she just says that they're not boyfriend and girlfriend.
I like how they have the producer saying, okay, so for his lower third,
Yeah.
we shouldn't say boyfriend. She's
It's
like,
just-
no,
Yeah. Friend boy.
friend boy.
And then when she realizes that, I think, one, her and Scott Lee are not in a good place to where she should introduce the nephews, the fact that could go wrong in so many ways. So then she goes, okay, so for the end of her, to wrap up a storyline, she introduces him to La Archive.
Right.
Like as if
Who cares?
him seeing your business is like a huge step.
It's like a closet.
Yeah. And I just do not buy this. I haven't bought the Marlo and Scott Lee thing. I tried to be nice about it, but I felt like it was inauthentic the entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Kenya. I don't know if you listened to the Kenya Carlos King interview.
No.
It's great. I mean, you
She's savage.
You love Kenya, right?
I mean, she's entertaining, but she scares me.
Oh, she scares me too. But she is so candid in that interview, and she thinks Carlos asks her if Kenya thinks that Marlo is like single-handedly the reason why the last 2 seasons have been horrible, and Kenya says absolutely.
Oh my God.
She says that Marlo gets the most sympathetic edit in the world, that Marlo doesn't have to tell any of her story, but they follow along any fake story that Marlo wants to show.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't dive deep into anything that's going on in Marlo's life, like anything that might look bad, and they just give her this like sympathetic edit, whereas they edit all of Kenya's storylines, and like so she's just very disenfranchised by how she's like appearing on the show. And I told you, but she thinks this is the worst season of Atlanta that she's ever been on.
I don't think I sent it to you, but TikTok served me a video of her competing for, was it Miss USA?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay. I always get
Yeah.
scared I'm going to say it wrong, like
Great.
Portia. And she's so poised and
Oh, yeah.
beautiful.
Oh yeah. I mean, listen to this interview. If you have even an inkling of love for Kenya, she's going in. I mean,
Okay.
she talks about everything. Like they ask, Carlos asks her if she thinks that Drew and Sonya earned their peach. And she's like, I don't think they earned it because Atlanta just casts people now and says, okay, you're cast, join the group now and start filming these scenes.
You get your
But she
peach
said when
later.
Kenya and Portia came up, they had to earn their right. They would film scenes. If they were entertaining enough, then they got the group setting, an all cast event.
Yeah.
And they really had to like intern on Atlanta before. And she says now they just throw them in and it's inorganic because they don't know them at all.
Right.
Oh, and she talks so much shit about Courtney. You'll
Oh
love
my
it.
God. Courtney's a devil.
Courtney's awful.
At the end of this episode, she says some shit that's crazy.
Yeah. And there's a little bit of rumors going around that they might fully reboot
I
Atlanta.
saw that.
But I just want to say to you,
That would be foolish.
it would be foolish. And one huge reason why it'd be foolish is that you guys can't even cast friend ofs that are good.
Yeah.
So why ever? And I said this on TikTok, but I'm going to say it again. If you can't get friend ofs that are great and organic and fun and provide drama and conflict organically, then how the hell would you ever cast a show with 6 or 7 new people and
Right.
expect it to go? If you see anybody talented or great coming up, put them in the cast and try them out,
Yeah.
like Kenya and Portia. I don't
Yeah.
know why you would just scrap the talent you have, and so I don't
Yeah.
know. I think it's a horrible idea. And if you're pointing to RHONY as an example of why you should reboot, please
Yeah.
think about RHONY deeply.
We need Beyonce to say something. I know she's an Atlanta fan because I think it was after the Super Bowl performance.
Gone with the
She
Wind.
said that it was Gone with the Wind fabulous, and I screamed.
Amazing. Amazing. Yeah. that's
Who is
so great.
the Rihanna watches like all of them, but I
Yep.
feel like Dorinda that she like message like there are certain housewives that she comments or
Rihanna loves Dorinda, and I think Rihanna loves Heather
okay.
on Salt Lake City.
Yeah. I love Heather too.
Me too. And
She gets a little, you'll see Heather gets a little dark sided where you're like, she's lost the plot. I'm curious to see what you think.
I love Whitney.
Yeah. Jimmy loves Whitney.
Really?
Shocker.
Why?
She's like hot.
He likes the hot people?
That's my opinion. He would disagree, but I'm going to throw him under the bus and say he likes Kristen Takeman and Whitney.
Whitney. Yeah. Yeah. There's not a lot of merit to Kristen Takeman, so you have to just think maybe
Well,
you
they
think she's
cared
hot
enough
as
to
hell.
bring her on UGC or
That
whatever.
was just to give-
or UGT.
That was just to add one. They think
Just to
OG.
piss off Ramona.
Yeah, just to have Ramona throw another glass at her face or whatever.
Okay, wait. I just want to go
Yes.
through a few bullets of how
Sure.
Drew sucked ass on this episode.
Drew sucked ass.
Sorry, Ralph. I read the
Yeah.
word Drew.
Okay. Yeah, Ralph sucked ass.
He blamed her for working late nights and waking him up by getting home late. So he slept in the other room, which I'm like, fine, sleep in the other room, but don't make her feel bad for working. She's so fucking done with him. Then he, for some reason, wants to justify the other women calling his wife a bitch. Like, he won't let it go.
He says they called you a bitch. How does that affect me?
And he goes to her sister, he goes, I've called you a bitch.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, they hate you.
Right.
Like, what's your point?
Right. Yeah.
He's
awful.
like a lunatic. He's a maniac.
He is a maniac, like Dr. Ken said.
It's insane. And then, in their therapy, he said that he's, this is all irrelevant because he has made such leaps and bounds in his own self-improvement. Number one being that he sleeps in a different bed now, which I don't know how that makes a good case. Their kids are literally texting Drew saying like, why is daddy sleeping in the other room? And
he goes, that's a lie. He goes, they haven't actually talked about it at all. She goes, here, I'll pull it up if you have to have it.
yeah. He says that she likes the room hot and he likes it cold, which I'm like, it was true deflection to the point where I was like, literally, like, I'm confused. Like, what are you talking about? He was like, one of your best friends, they sleep in separate beds. And she's like, they also filed for divorce. And he goes, who hasn't filed for divorce?
Yeah, he was like trying to be cute or fun. He also keeps saying about this sleeping in bed thing, it's clear that Drew is upset with this and doesn't like it. And
Yeah.
he keeps saying the reality of this is that it's better for both of us and it's better for Drew. And she's telling him it's not better for her. And he
No.
keeps trying to, he just tries to override his impression of things so that they'll just shut up and accept it.
Yeah. In their therapist clearly like hates him.
I
so.
know, but I think Dr. Ken you need to be a little more objective, Dr. Ken. If you're, I would never
He
want to go
did
to.
give him a friendly greeting. He was like, my brother. And they like did the like hand.
Yeah, but a lot of
Hug.
yes, but I hear in like counseling that like one person sometimes thinks that like the therapist is on their side,
Yeah.
even though like, they're supposed to be impartial. But
Yeah,
I can
that's-
sort of see, Dr. Ken.
Well, I think he's basically like, this is a bad situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like the session basically ends with him saying like, is this a relationship worth saving or that you think is worth staying in. Because I think he's basically like, you guys are broken. Like he's an asshole. He's not understanding what you're saying. And I don't know what it's going to take for you to get through to him. Like, it feels like, because when she sees him one-on-one, he's like, you're not going to be gaslit anymore. Like, you should run, basically.
Yeah.
And I'm like, maybe he knew that was going to be their last session. He was just like, okay.
Do you think it's at all justifiable that Ralph doesn't want to sleep in the same room when she puts it to 82 degrees?
If that's true, that's insane.
What? Sleeping at
82 degrees?
That's like, I think
that's
your
how
room,
hot it is right now in here, and I'm like sweating.
if we slept, if you and I fell asleep right now, I don't
oh my God,
think
we'd wake up so sweaty. I'd be like, where am I?
You'd wake up and you knew something bad had happened.
Yeah. I mean, but also it's like, fine. Like, if there's a period of time where you need to sleep in a different bed because she's on a shoot that like is waking you up or whatever, then fine. But he's turning into this whole thing that makes no sense.
And tell her that there's an end to this and that there's a silver lining and that you care about her. He just does it the wrong way. He is selfish. He's
terrible.
He's a selfish, terrible person, and he doesn't care about Drew. And Drew, it came, I think, had such a deference to her husband, like not like how, remember Portia's deference to her husband that she came on, where she couldn't do like anything without his approval or whatever. Drew has a little bit of that, where like Ralph has to be like the king in their relationship, and it's like. She finally has gotten to the place now where once you see Ralph for what he is, you can no longer accept his reality anymore.
I've loved watching her shed that way of thinking.
Me too. And then we get to what would have been the finale party, which thank God it wasn't. This episode wasn't good anyway, but at least it wasn't ending with
the past rap party, even though Mama Joyce was there.
Yes. They keep trying to make this I'll call it bitch gate happen, where who Courtney called a bitch, she points at Sonia and said, this bitch doesn't believe me or whatever. First of all, the context in which Courtney said this bitch was fully contrived, and she was just trying to have a moment, and she was screaming performatively, so it doesn't matter. I don't even think she called Drew a bitch. I think she called Sonia, but either way it doesn't matter. And then finally at the past party, the only drama they have to like get through is whether or not Courtney called Drew a bitch, and Courtney finally just fesses up to it and said I did, and then they don't resolve it. It's like
Drew's sister was like about to lose it on her, and she was so worked up. I was like, would I be that mad if someone called my sister a bitch? I think I would just be like, whatever.
Whatever. If someone called my sister a bitch, I would.
You'd be flying off the handle.
I'd be worse than Drew's sister. But
I like how Courtney just tried to give her a hug, and she was literally like, "I'll kill you, don't touch me."
Yeah. And then we had to like kind of just deal with Courtney. It was like,
I know she got too much screen time.
Way too much.
And then she got like the post-season interview. Also, the pass, because of its Peacock connection, got so much promo.
Yep. And
but yeah, Drew sings "Already Know."
Yeah. You don't have to tell me whose is it when we're switching positions.
Something about asthma.
Know. Yeah. Got me wheezing like an asthmatic. I think that song is so good, and I love it, and I hope we end this episode with Already Know again.
Yeah.
I was glad that Drew got to perform it. I mean, this could have been Drew's like full, she could have been the star of this season, but the way it was edited and how it was just not a good season, you wouldn't want to be the star of this season no matter what. You know, like you came out on top, but this is not the environment you want to come out on top. Anybody could have come out on top,
right?
So it was bad. And then we watched the past trailer. I mean, looks awesome, and I can't wait for us to watch it.
We have to watch it.
When are we gonna watch it? Tomorrow?
Maybe.
If we have time. I want to do a watch
Maybe
along.
we can do a special Patreon episode. Do you think people would get mad if we skipped 1 week of recap?
Well, I don't know. Well, let's talk about that.
Okay.
I would still maybe let's talk
off mic.
Yeah, we'll talk about it off mic.
Okay, wait, but we got a little glimpse at Ty.
Yes.
Who they're really trying to make it sound like Drew is dating this woman. That's the rumor
Right.
after the divorce, which
Right.
feels potentially placed by Ralph. And Courtney agreed, and Courtney said, no wonder Drew wanted him to adopt her kids because she wants to run off and have this gay relationship. And I was like, that's such a fucked up thing to say.
I mean, awful.
Like,
but
no one wants Ralph watching their kids. I promise you that.
yeah, no, absolutely not. So they they pick up, right? They pick up filming, and we find out that the whole cast reacts to, first of all, Drew and Ralph raced to the courthouse to file first. Ralph says it was his decision to file for divorce. They had one fight and it was his decision. Drew says it was her decision.
Yeah.
So they're both lying about who started this divorce.
Yeah.
Ralph got there 61 minutes later.
It's giving rat race.
Yeah. Marlo said it's like Michael and William playing Mario Kart and Drew threw the banana peel at him, which is so silly.
Yeah.
And then the cast reacts because they had just seen Ralph just had his 40th birthday, and Drew and him seemingly looked like they were
days
doing
before. Yeah.
doing good.
Everyone was actually pretty nice about it. Like,
yeah.
Kenya's phone call to Drew was actually very sweet. Like, she was like, I've been through a public
Yes.
divorce recently. Let me know.
Yeah.
Everyone's being actually really sweet, and no one's really talking that much shit. They're kind of just like, this is really sad.
Yes.
You know? I feel like usually there would be more bad behavior around this.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, they all like kind of rallied around Drew, which was sweet. And then while they're doing the confessionals about the relationship, which this was a
Oh, Lord.
is that
Ralph's
Drew and
outside.
is that Drew and Ralph
the Mario Kart.
racing to the courthouse? So to the viewers' detriment, both Drew and Ralph can't talk about any of
Right.
the details. So these confessionals are awful because every question they get asked, they go, I have to talk to my lawyers. Ralph calls his lawyer. He goes, can I talk about what was the impetus for the divorce? And the lawyer goes, no. And then he goes,
all right.
okay, I can't talk about it. And Drew can't talk about it. He can talk about anything. So it's like, this sucks. And then while they're having the confessional, a story goes viral that Drew has been having a relationship with someone she met on the pass.
Yeah. It's her love interest in the movie's friend, who's a basketball player.
Yes.
And the rumors that they've been like steadily dating.
Yeah. And then Drew gets asked about this, and Drew's reaction was really odd. It was like a liar's reaction, because I do think Drew lies.
Mm-hmm.
I think Drew lies. I
Yeah.
think she's very comfortable lying.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying, I'm fine. I'm okay with the liar if you're fun. Like, I've seen people lie. I've liked housewives that lie.
Yeah.
But her reaction was really odd to the news, and she
Yeah.
tried to throw a lot of what's that called? She tried to throw a lot of stuff at the wall to see what stuck in the interview, where she was like, yeah, I met Ty on Candy's movie, The Pass. So it was like she was trying to say that like this could have been manufactured by Candy.
Right.
And then she was like, oh wait, no. You know who's been talking about me and Ty? Ralph. And so she kept, offering all of these possible scenarios for where this rumor would have
And then she
started from.
seemed both borderline excited / maybe
Yes.
horrified, but more excited
No.
that it was going viral.
Yeah. She goes, it's going viral? She had a huge smile
She was
on
like
her face.
laughing.
Yeah.
It was
and I was like-
weird.
yeah. It was like,
I couldn't tell if it was like nervous laughter or
I-
if she just actively likes any press.
I can usually gauge like a nervous happiness or excitement. She looked just legitimately thrilled that this story was going viral.
Yeah.
And then they say something like, what's your relationship with Ty? And then she goes, yeah, we met on that movie, and that's it. And then it just, the credits
Ends.
roll. And it's like, why? This happened in March. Why did you guys not add a lot of there's been probably so many updates
Yeah.
since then. Why was there no like, it ended on a cliffhanger, which a lot of
Right.
finales don't do that.
Yeah.
And so there must have been more to the story that has evolved since then. So I felt like it was just incomplete.
Yeah.
And the fact that they couldn't tell their stories because of the lawyers, it just was bad.
Totally.
So
Yeah.
kind of a flop finale. And I know they'll get into it at the reunion, but
Yeah. I'm kind of excited for the reunion.
yeah, me too. Because hopefully they'll have
She
answers.
News.
What? Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm excited for She News.
BravoTV.com should sell She News.
Yes. I want to get that newspaper and read it. So we agree that this was sort of a
Flopperoonie.
ineffective, flopperoonie finale.
I feel like for Orange County, we can just do broad strokes because
Yeah.
literally nothing happened.
It was like there was one thing that happened, and they were spinning their wheels the rest of the time. I want to ask you really quickly for Atlanta, because
Yeah.
like I am pro this cast, but I do admit that this season was overall not good or
Yeah.
uneven.
You
So
think
I don't.
it needs a shakeup.
Yeah, it needs a shakeup, but I feel bad because I like Sonya, but I feel like if you're doing a shakeup,
She'd be a great friend of.
so yeah, I was gonna ask you, like, I love Sonya. I think you do too. Like, she's a positive, nice spirit.
Yeah.
But if you're doing a cast shakeup, you don't not remove Sonya, right?
She'd be a great friend of because she's just a support. She doesn't,
Yeah.
bring that much
But then
personally.
Drew can't go because this is the season they want.
She holds the keys.
This is what they've been waiting for. This is the
Yeah.
only reason they kept Drew on this long, because they knew the shoe was going to drop on this one. So they're
Yeah.
not getting rid of Drew.
I mean, Cynthia's really been milling around, but they shouldn't bring her back.
No, because she's kind of like Sonya,
Yeah.
where it's just like she doesn't bring a lot. She's just a
I
steady
was just surprised
hand.
at how many episodes she was in.
But she didn't do anything.
No, but
she was one of the worst.
she proved
friend.
yet again.
She was the worst friend of. She gave nothing.
No.
There was no reason for her to be there.
Yeah.
But like, you're not going to get rid of Kenya. I just think Candy is Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I like,
Candy's worldwide.
yes. And then Marlo is a huge question mark.
Yeah.
She flopped this
She's
season.
like still kind of new.
She's not giving a lot, and I do think a lot of her storylines were performative and inauthentic. So I see what Kenya says about Marlo. I could imagine a world where she's on the chopping block,
Mm-hmm.
and I wouldn't be shocked. I would think it was justifiable the way
Yeah.
this season went.
Yeah.
And
what
then
about
you
Sheree?
That's the hardest one for me because, like Sonya, I love Sheree and I love everything she does. Oh, it's horrible to say. But I do think that Sheree ultimately doesn't give enough. I don't know. The baby reveal was so fun. The
Yeah.
sip and see and all the Bob stuff, and I do love it. But ultimately, did she give us a lot?
Well, it's awkward to bring someone back and then get rid of them again.
Yeah, but she comes, every 4 seasons, it seems like she comes back. So I don't think it would be horrible to have a loss of Sheree. I mean, she missed some pivotal, beautiful seasons of Atlanta and wasn't missed.
Yeah.
I do love her. I don't know. But then if you have to have a shakeup, if you have to change something, Sheree, I think, ultimately has to be on the chopping block.
This is why Andy's job is so hard.
This is why he is like pulling his hair out. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, sorry. I just wanted to think about the future of Atlanta. And
Yeah.
then, but yeah. So
Okay.
let's go into
Something
Orange
to think
County.
about. Okay. I just want to say up top that I do get excited with these $1 million listing inclusions
Okay.
because I've always watched that show.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, it's Josh and Heather. They opened up they sold that house. They say that Terry and Heather's house is the 3rd highest sale in OC history.
Mm-hmm.
I actually felt like that moment was real where they left and came back because there was like production and then like the kids came out, which like it didn't seem like they would have come out otherwise.
no,
like it felt real.
Yeah, no, and a producer goes, hold on a minute. And they had to knock on the door and Terry and Heather stopped like it was a scene and held their conversation. So yeah, that was totally real. It happened right then. I thought that was, cool to capture on camera. But
I don't know. Sorry, go ahead.
oh, no, you go.
I just don't know why I'm like a class traitor for Terry and Heather because I feel like with most people, I'd be like, you're disgusting. No one needs $55 million. Like Terry was literally like, G6, baby, G6. And I'm just like, you guys are fun. Enjoy it.
Yeah. I mean, I think you overall just like them more than I do.
Yeah.
I feel
I
like
love
they
Terry.
I feel like they just need a spinoff because
Yeah.
Heather does not like being
That's
on
clearly
Orange.
what they're gunning for. I feel
Yeah,
like. I mean, I watch Botched is actually on right now, like a new season.
Okay.
So I actively watch Botched like every week.
Okay.
And I love Terry. He's truly a master. Like
Yeah.
he's so good at what he does. So I just have respect for him. And I'm like, you earned your money. Like, I mean, obviously it seems like there's more at play than just him being a surgeon. Like you make a lot, but I don't know if you make that much. But I just like him, and I think he has a sweetheart. And despite their weird PR campaign, whether or not you think they had paparazzi come to Disneyland or not, I feel like they have a good marriage.
Yes. I think they have a great marriage. They're rich as hell. They seem happy.
They should have a show on E!
Yeah, they can do whatever they want. I just think that I have to defend Heather this season because the way they're treating her is so awful.
Yeah.
But I don't think Heather brings a lot, and I don't get as much thrill from seeing them be rich.
Yeah.
And I do think that those photos were staged.
Yeah.
Completely. I liked that Tamara brought that up. That was the one good thing Tamara did this episode.
Wow,
is just
Teddy from Beyond the Grave
I know.
calling in.
Yeah, she was like, "Are you filming right now? Can my voice be on it?" But yeah, I think Heather and Terry just want their own show, need their own show. Heather is doing this to get some brand recognition again.
Yeah. I also feel like the show has basically I think all of the franchises have kind of strayed away from being lifestyles of the rich and the famous. At the beginning, that was kind of the whole point.
I know.
And now it's
They're not.
irrelevant.
No, I don't even think of wealth as being one of the main factors when I'm watching these shows. Like when RHONY started to do like these diamonds are so expensive, I was like, oh, weird. We talk about how much stuff is. That seems
remember
like
Beverly Hills? It was mansions,
and New
jets,
New Jersey.
cars.
New Jersey was like, how much do these people spend?
Yeah.
And it's like it's so far removed from just showing wealth now that
Yeah.
it's kind of jarring.
It's
when you
because
do see
it's
it.
like most of what they're doing on the show is like paid for, or like like part of the show, like their trips and their parties are just like built in, so it's not as
you don't think like they're
relevant.
spending money on these things.
Yeah.
You're just like, this is part of being on the show.
Where I was watching old Beverly Hills, my DVR recorded some of season 3, I think, when they go to Vegas with Brandy to learn how to dance on a stripper pole. And Lisa says, "There's life in this old dog yet?" Again.
She did?
Yeah. I should have recorded it.
She said there's life in this old dog yet?
Yeah.
On Beverly Hills?
And Ken goes, "Save some for me."
Save some of that life?
Yeah.
So he can have some of it?
Totally.
What?
I'll pull it up. But half of them leave on Yolanda's jet that David chartered for them.
Right.
Because she just wanted to go home. She didn't want to spend another night. And I was like, see, Heather does that, but it's not really fun anymore.
No.
Like, it's kind of just like the way she lives, and it's not that interesting.
And then Heather starts to go like, oh, we have to sell the house, or we have to get out of the house so soon. Where are we going to live? I was like, no one gives a shit.
Yeah,
you'll
be fine.
You can go anywhere in the world.
Yeah, like go stay at the Four Seasons
Nothing has ever...
a year.
Yeah, nothing has ever typified rich people problems more than that. Trying to make...
Like, you are the one that sold your house that wasn't even listed, so...
Yeah, I do not... I'm not happy. I'm happy for them as much as
it is weird, though, that, like, what are they going to do, though? Like, are they just going to fill this gap of, like, when their last kids go off to school, and then after that never have a home again that will fit all their kids?
I don't know. I thought it was weird that they spent 10 years talking about and building this dream home that has their ashes embedded into the walls of it, and that like it was gonna like their fingerprints all over it, and then they just like were like 55 million, sure. It's like
I think that's like Terry said, that's not fuck you money, it's fuck everyone you've ever met money.
The rich get richer.
I guess it was just a number an offer they could not resist.
And their thrill at having the third highest real estate sale in Orange County, they like cheers to it. But whatever. It's fine. If Heather fit in more with the show and she was a cast member that I enjoyed watching, I would love this moment. If it was Lisa and Ken, I'd be like, hell yeah. Sell your $55 million. I just think that I get the energy that they want to be alone. Heather doesn't care about the show.
Well, especially if they keep trying to oust her like this.
I know.
And she's like, I don't need this.
Can we skip to pumpkin carving?
Sure. I'll just quickly say I'm concerned about Emily riding a motorcycle unless Shane is on the sidecar. That's the only way I'm interested.
Because anytime she starts to tip to the right, he could pick her back up, right?
That's true. Then
We got some new sort of anatomical details about Shane this episode.
that's true. We already, they were talking about everyone's dick at one point. I'll just say Ryan continues to skeeve me out. And secondly, Tamara and Eddie had to go work out at a different gym called Shreds with a Z. And they were wearing head to toe cut fitness merch at this other gym, which is weird because their business is closed. So I don't know why they're still promoting it.
And Eddie and Tamara skeeved me out.
Oh my God, they're trying so hard.
When Eddie did that, can I dress like a caveman? He started doing caveman noise. I was like, I don't believe you guys have sex at all.
Even
and
Tamara was
admitted-
like, no thanks.
yeah.
I thought that was actually kind of important that she admitted that they were having a dry spell, because I feel like Tamara will never admit to not being horny and having sex constantly.
Yeah.
That's like her whole thing.
That was nice of her. But this episode, I say it every week, if you wanted to make the case against why Tamara sucks as on a show and as a housewife and that everything she does is fake, just watch every move she makes in this episode. Everything she does. She lies that she didn't hear the CPS comment for Shannon, then brings it up at the table so that it gets brought up.
Yeah.
Then she brings up the dick comment, even though she's supposedly Shannon's friend.
Yeah.
She lies about Heather bringing this Shannon and John talk up and fully throws Heather under the bus anytime.
Yeah.
And then they show all the scenes, and in no scene is Heather talking about Shannon and John. It's only Tamara.
Yeah.
It's awful. It's like you're just watching a producer or someone who is thinking with producer brain try to manipulate the show to make it better. But you can see it's like the dumbest person,
Just
and I'm not saying she's
transparent.
dumb, the most transparent person trying to orchestrate a season of a show, and it sucks. It's so bad. It's just, this is, Tamara feels like she's the puppeteer trying to make things happen, and I see every move she makes, and it's horrible.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
I know when she goes over to Shannon's house at the beginning, she's just like,
Oh, you're
very much trying to be like, that, it was so fun, and like, what is everyone talking about? And it's just like, what?
No, she goes to their house and go, oh, you slept over? Let's tell Heather and Emily because they're the most concerned about this. Just like pushing this fucking snowball down the hill to try. And then Shannon, I think Shannon knows. In the sit down with Heather, she's like, Heather's crocodile tears apologizing to me. Heather goes, Shannon, I am not talking about you. And if you heard even one whisper of it, I am sorry. She's like fully just saying, enough.
Yeah.
Stop. And then Shannon goes, well, those were crocodile tears. And put that on
she's
your
like,
IMDb.
Oscar, yeah.
And it's like, God damn, give Heather a fucking break.
I know. She's just like in Tamara's
Yes.
palm.
Yeah. Well, but I honestly think, pessimistically, I feel like Shannon knows. And Shannon is also perpetuating fake drama. And Shannon did something legitimately awful when she said that CPS comment. She was drunk as hell. She says a horrible thing. And then you watch how they all lie at the pumpkin carving event.
Yeah.
Taylor goes, I didn't hear that. Tamara goes, yeah, I heard no such thing. Tamara even goes a step further. She goes, hey, Gina, just so you know, I'd fact check that thing because Jen really likes to stir up a bunch of shit. So she probably got the words. She probably got that wrong. Like, just lying. And then I liked, Gina says, if anybody's stirring shit up, it's Tamara. Like, Gina has Tamara's fucking number.
Totally.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's like the most redeeming quality about Gina. She just does not believe anything that Tamara says.
And Shannon's like, may God strike me dead if I said something like that. And
Shannon goes, Jen, did you say that I talked about Child Protective Services? That's a lie. She says it so emphatically.
And even Tamara's like, low key, I don't remember, but if I'm wrong, I don't want to be standing next to Shannon when God smites her.
Smites her completely. Yeah. And then Tamara stirs up all this shit. She goes, oh, wait, are you guys done fighting yet? Because what about that comment about Travis's small penis? And then it's like, okay, we talk about the small penis.
So annoying.
Yeah. And then Tamara goes, after stirring up 3 different fights in one fight, of which she is the sole cause, she goes, can we move on? Are we done? She like tries to like stop the fight that she is spreading as she's at this table.
Poor
It's like,
Travis is like, now why I'm in it? Like, why are we talking about my dick now? Like, what the hell?
like, where did that come from? Shannon like just did this horrible low blow.
I also like that then they started getting into the nitty gritty of Child Protective Services, and then Emily is like, it was a bench warrant. That's not what would happen. Like, a bench warrant is basically like what happens when you have like too many parking tickets and like don't go to court. Like, it's like,
I love it. I love having just a lawyer say exactly what's going on. I will. I'm interested when Gina finds out firsthand that Shannon did say this, because there was a lot of. It was very hard to get that truth out with how much lying there was.
Totally.
But eventually that's going to come out. Jen is like thrown under the bus in every single scenario. Like, she cannot get a win with this group. If I was Jen, I'd be like, God damn, guys.
Seriously.
Like,
I know. I mean, she literally just said what was said, and it was real.
And
it's something that Gina would want to know.
And and I think we said last week, one of the only justifiable pieces of information that you can tell someone that was not there, and it doesn't sound like you're just trying to get in the muck. She legitimately wanted Gina to know that Shannon told a horrible thing.
Yeah.
Justifiable. And then she has to deal with everybody calling her a liar. Tamara saying Jen likes to twist shit.
That'll be good reunion fodder because it's just the facts.
I want them at the reunion. I want Andy. I asked him a question. They say, can you I said, Tamara, why did you feel it was necessary for you to have a full one-sided feud against Heather this season? What was it? And I wanted to ask you, besides stirring up drama and besides thinking she's a producer, one of the worst producers in history, the worst producer that's ever been an on-camera producer, why does Tamara seemingly hate Heather and want to bring her down? Why?
Do you think she's jealous?
I mean, that would be the go-to.
Yeah.
But it's like she hates her.
Yeah.
But she acts like they're good.
Like, maybe she feels threatened by her, and
I think it's because she's the OG that came back, that is celebrated, and then Tamara's the OG demon that got summoned forth, that it's like a curse was put on OC, and then Tamara is the one that, they shook a thing, and then Tamara is the demon that came back, and Heather is like, vaulted, or, like she has a legacy quality of a good housewife, and maybe Tamara is like, no, you guys love me, right? I'm like the scrappy.
I mean, it all came out when she did her impression of Heather.
The worst. I mean,
She was literally, it was like the female gremlin, like a gremlin wearing a wig and lipstick.
It was so awful. It was so embarrassing. I mean, I contend that Tamara has no iconic
Heather
moments.
Duterte.
Oh my God.
Okay,
then Tamara, I just want to end my Tamara rant by saying that she wasn't done yet. She also has to bring up the Heather paparazzi photos.
Oh, right.
Was that what you were going to say? They go from a pumpkin carving to a pumpkin dinner, right? It was really weird.
It looked like they hated it, and that Taylor was mad that they all hated it.
Yeah.
And like they carved those pumpkins with no respect.
No.
They were literally like, I made a hole.
It's got a butthole.
They literally, it was just like shapes that were like 6 inches, like no nuance to their carving whatsoever. And the woman that was helping them was just like, all right, like, I'll go fuck myself. Like, you guys suck.
Also, it was giving wreath sewing. It
Totally.
was like they both had the exact
It was
same
so
stupid
boring.
follow.
It's also like, I get it. Like, if there's so much going on, you're not going to try and do like an intricate carving. You're just going to be like, can we be done now? Like, can we move on?
Right, like, yeah, what are we doing? We're not ultimately going to make something good. They both had that feel. It's like, we don't care about the end result of this. What were you going to say? I cut you off when I was talking about
No, just that
Tamara.
Shannon fucking left.
Shannon has a panic attack.
Yeah.
That a hypochondriac
Heather yet again was like, do we need to call someone?
Yeah. We need to get the ambulances here. Shannon is a hypochondriac. We've seen time and time again.
Call Dr. Moon.
And I think...
Get your chakras aligned.
Yes.
Get an enema.
Yes. And I think that the realization that she potentially said Child Protective Services, it was enough to make her want to leave immediately, right?
Yeah.
And then I forget if it's before or after she leaves, but Tamara goes to Heather really quick because she's not done. She needs more. She needs to provoke more drama. She goes, just by the way, a podcast came out where me and Teddy basically railed and said that your paparazzi photos were completely staged. I hope you're okay with that.
Yeah.
And then Heather is even bracing for Tamara, what she's going to say. She was like, oh, is it going to be bad what you're going to say? She's just like so.
Yeah. And then it turned out to be like, she was like annoyed, but she was like, I guess I don't really give a fuck about that. And she was like, also, if I did call the paparazzi, I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah, totally. I believe they were staged because I think that is very much part of Terry and Heather's world and what they would do. But did you think it's true what Tamara said, that there are no paparazzi at Disneyland?
Well, Tamara said no paparazzi in Orange County.
Right.
Period.
Like that no one would come to Orange County to...
Which I don't know if, I mean, maybe that's true, but I feel like probably, I mean, what about like Tarek and Christina during their divorce? I bet there were paparazzi down there for that. And like the Selling Sunset ladies, I bet, I don't know.
But at Disneyland, I will admit, I mean, I don't look at a lot of paparazzi photos, but I haven't seen many. And they said that because it was a professional camera, no paparazzi like are allowed in. And so if there would have been a photo of them, it would be a fan sent in. So I think Tamra is so nefarious and she has an eye and an ear for what is evil and fake that I think she might be right in this. And like you said, I think Heather is just like, I think it's awful that you're accusing me of this, but I don't care enough to even think. If it was real and true, what do you think Heather was pointing at?
Mickey and Walt Disney at the entry holding hands in front of the Magic Castle.
And she was like, Terry, that's like when you and I hold hands because we love each other so much.
Yeah.
I didn't even know there were those Terry cheating rumors, but
yeah.
I will talk shit about Heather and Terry, but the one thing I will say, like you said, is that I don't think he cheats.
No.
If he cheated, I think it would be like the most reported thing in the world. We would know in like 1 second. The minute he dropped his pants.
Totally. Remember seasons ago when they start saying the D word? Like, it's because he's working too much.
Yeah.
And she's pissed at him. And like the bar was her bar is so high.
Yes.
That like they were already talking about divorce from like the most basic of marital spats.
Right.
Like I was like, you guys are really going that far with
right.
this?
He was like, we said the D word for the first time.
Yeah. And it's like, but they were still like, they were pissed at each other, but it wasn't like so far gone. Like there's so many other relationships that are very much more clearly headed towards divorce in the Housewives universe. Whereas like for them, they like keep their shit tight.
Yeah.
Like the second they're headed for trouble, they get very serious and realign. Totally. Which I respect.
And this season is like a realignment. It's like
totally
we're best buds again. Like we're killing it. He likes grabbing her ass and looking at her, and like they're horny again
in their penthouse in the sky.
Yeah.
In Century City.
So this episode felt like they had one scene to work with, which is the CPS scene.
Yeah.
And then they put a bunch of garbage around it. And it was very bad.
It was boring. I did like at the very end, though, once Shannon had left, that Emily was like, imagine what would have happened if someone made a comment about John's dick. She would literally have like had a seizure.
Yes. Totally. Do you think the John and Shannon shit that like has perpetuated the last 6 episodes is over?
Like
John and Shannon, like
the show?
No, will they give up talking about this?
Right.
Because this is like the food on RHONY equivalent, right. On Orange County. Like,
well,
please.
It's like, who knows? Because they don't break up until after they quit filming.
Yeah.
So their situation might get worse and worse because it led to their breakup.
Shannon finally realized that she has to be like honest about some of the things that were going on, that John's an avoider.
Right. I wonder if they put cameras back up for the breakup.
Bravo just starts doing that like for every
scandal.
They're like cameras up. Yeah.
Well, that would actually be a good thing for them to do strategically, so that people don't think that they can wait to have things happen until after.
Right. Like don't save your shit for once
like,
we'll
wrap. Fucking pick up cameras, bitch.
Yeah. Like
we'll be back.
It's in your contract now that you like cameras can pick up within any single, time
in the calendar year.
Yeah, I like that. If they can fit it in.
We're going to come knocking.
Yeah. Heather says something about Tamra, which I thought was very truthful. She says it really takes a certain someone that takes pleasure in the misfortune of others. I fully find that to be Tamra.
Yeah.
It's very rare to find someone that roots for someone's demise and for bad things to happen, and I fully believe that of Tamra.
Yeah.
She wants that marriage to end. She wants their house to turn to shit.
Yeah.
Like, she just, it's awful.
Yeah. I'm curious. I'm excited about everyone finding out about the house sale and to see how they react, because I feel like
I already see how they already like kind of show they're like, Heather doesn't tell us anything.
Yeah.
Heather is so not a good friend. She won't tell like anything they could talk about with fucking Heather.
But I liked like you see Shannon get the phone call and she's like, oh wow. And I'm most, I guess, interested. She's like in their wealth bracket ish, or
Shannon
was. Remember they built that insane eco-friendly house with like the chandelier that came down with like crystals in the floor or whatever.
'Cause
Like she's like rich.
David Bador was rich as hell.
I think she's the one.
Oh,
she was
really?
raised rich. She's
Oh.
like from Newport.
That's awesome.
Like she was like rode horses in her childhood, and like I think her grandpa owned like a department store or something like that. So she's always had money. I don't think she has at this point DeBro money, and I think her divorce fucked her a lot. Like she had to give a lot of her money away. But I guess I'm just curious to see how someone who with like I feel like Shannon or Tamra is like she'll never be that rich, and
Yeah.
she'll like implode thinking about
like
it.
Tamara and Eddie are about to move into where Cut Fitness used to be.
Yeah, they're just gonna live in like the dumpster behind it. Whereas like Shannon or even Emily, like Emily's in-laws are so rich. I feel like they can just be like, wow, that's great.
I
Like
love seeing Shane's parents.
totally. So I feel like I want to see the reaction of people that
Me too.
that's in their realm of reality where they can be like, wow, that's great. Like you guys did that.
Yeah.
Versus like I feel like Tamara and like Gina will be like, meh.
Yeah, totally. One negative against Emily is that I do not like that she's taking part in this Heather onslaught.
Yeah.
I really wish she had tried to form her own opinions and be on her own
Yeah.
and not go on this like Heather, whatever that's called,
Tirade.
Yeah.
All right.
I know we got to go.
Wow, we are actually hitting the 3 hour.
Without
this time.
even like vamping or like, you know what I mean? Like sometimes we kind of like let
The
it go.
Summer House Minute pushed us over.
So we said it before. We're kind of in a little bit of a flop era, but we have, I think, a
More
bright future.
to come.
Okay. Yeah.
Salt Lake, Southern Charm, BravoCon.
BravoCon. Oh my God, it's gonna be so
Sooner
fun.
than you think.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this was a long episode. If you made it all the way to the end, should we have something they say that marks
Yeah.
that you actually listened for 3
Remember
hours?
that time we had them comment about Jack, the movie Jack?
Yeah. Like, is there something fun? I mean, my brain is sort of
Maybe
like mush, but
pint-sized, baptized, and highly prized.
yes. If you got to the full end, why don't you say Tamra's what's that called?
Celebrated?
One of her much celebrated, huge, one of the best taglines, please. What was it again?
Pint-sized, baptized, and highly prized.
She sort of got over her like baptized era.
Yeah, because there was also the faith, family, and family are the only F's that I give. Was there one more?
Yeah. Do you remember when they baptized her and then like 6 demons shot out from her when she went under the water? Do you remember that?
Like Slimer came out. And then Vicky was outside like, they're pinning me to the cross
Yeah.
like Jesus was.
Yeah. And they're all trying to deflect Slimer from getting into their bodies. And they got him out. Do you
He's
remember?
drinking High C.
Who was?
Slimer.
Oh, right. Vicky brought a bunch of High C out and she goes, Slimer, drink this. Don't inhabit our bodies. And then Slimer left. That was a wild season. I wish
Yeah.
Orange County would get good like that again.
Yeah.
We love you guys so
Okay.
much. It's been 3 hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
We love you.
We love you guys. Review, comment,
Please.
subscribe.
You know the drill. If you love us and if you listen to this podcast but you don't subscribe to our Patreon, come on.
It's so much fun.
Please, we're having fun on there. We post, we drink.
And we need to pay our rent. Help
Please, come on, let us do Turtle Time forever so we can just talk nonstop about RHONY and Orange County. So please, subscribe to our Patreon if you like. You could even do the $5 and just binge the shit
That's true.
out of everything. Go nuts, and then don't cancel, but you really could go nuts.
Technically, we have to let you do that. So
$5, I wouldn't sneeze at $5 if they just wanted to do that and run like wild through our content.
totally.
Okay.
All right.
We love you. Goodbye.
Bye.
This one's for you tonight.